Motherfucker. Okay. So, what I was saying was, happy Friday. I got everything promoted on every platform, I think. But I think I'm forgetting a few. Also have a donut. I have a donut to eat. It's an old-fashioned. Just normal glazed old-fashioned. Yeah, I don't know why it changed. I don't know why. I checked everything else, and I don't know how I missed that the fucking mic wasn't working. Anyway, I posted an update video yesterday. I have a slightly newer update video because, like, I injured myself, so, like, not everything I said in that update video is 100% true. Because, like, I meant to post that, like, a week ago, and I meant to have a lot more done by this point. Haven't done that, so it's, like, it was a very optimistic update video at that point because I hadn't realized how bad my injury was. So, chat says bless you. So, yeah. Yeah. Or maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know how time has just been. Not. Not. Okay. So. I have an old drama video that's from like 2 years ago or something that just came up in my recommended, seemed interesting. We can watch that. We have a Deaf Noodles update, which seems chaotic, to say the least. My injury is healing. It's healing. It's not better though yet, unfortunately. And then I wanted to watch, like 3 days ago, my state government did like a press meeting, and I would like us to watch that because it was nice to see some politicians not coaching their language. So yeah, no, I know I've had a lot of really old videos recommended to me recently, but I'm just like, whatever. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah. I think we'll start with the Deaf Noodles drama. Then we'll do the other drama in between, because that'll be lighter, and then we'll end it with the press conference if we have time. Otherwise we'll move that to today's stream, but we'll see. So yeah, all right, so let me, and then also we're gonna play Make Room. That's the game we're playing. I've spent a few more days playing it and I've gotten a lot better, so I can show you how to do better at the game. Okay. I figured out you can make custom items inside of the game, and the possibilities are endless. It's fantastic. No, I tore a muscle or ligament or tendon. My doctor's not exactly sure which it is. It doesn't really matter. It's not super severe. Probably like 2 more weeks of healing and I'll be back to normal. But like, god damn it. Yep. I did, Brandon. It looks good. I haven't seen that much about it, but I just saw that some stuff was posted. No! God damn it. Okay. So, it's in the description, but here's the first video we're gonna watch, chat. I'm just gonna get us rolling into this so we can actually do stuff before I tangent too much. Yeah. It just sucks either way. Look at that loaf. Look at that good loaf. Yeah, you're loafing. You, sir. You're the one who's loafing. Why are your ears back? Why are you scary? That's scary. Okay. Okay, well, almost. We almost got there. Okay, let's make it. Okay, we'll do this. There we go. Cool. Alright, that's what we're playing. I need to make this center. That's driving me crazy. Okay. It does, I agree. I want to get the YouTube video. Do we not have a YouTube video overlay on this one? What the hell? How do we not have that? That's so weird. Okay, whatever. Went on my face. We'll put it here. That's good enough. Do I cover it? No. I'll do this. Alright. And then I will resize this. Okay, I think we're good now. Alright. I know there's a lot happening, chat. You got this. Lock in. Okay. Here we go.
The cancelled
How's the volume?
YouTuber to right-wing grifter pipeline is getting completely out of control, and today I want to talk about it and give you another new example. Well, newish, kind of. I'm going to talk about Deaf Noodles, and that is someone that I didn't expect to be talking about on this channel with, like, dedicating a whole video to them. It's absolutely insane. If you're new here, hi, my name is Rachel, and I make videos about a little bit of everything. We do some book reviews, we do some poetry analysis, we do some social commentary. I talk a lot about feminism, in particular intersectional feminism, and also a lot of like LGBTQ plus rights, and yeah, just kind of anything that interests me at the time and that I think is important to talk about, and I might be able to add something new to the conversation on. If you are new here, hi, it's absolutely lovely to have you, and I would love if you want to stick around and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, if you've been here a while, thank you so much for coming back, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this down in the comment section. And if you do like this video, please feel free to share it around on social media, because that really helps me.
There is polls on here.
Back in 2021, I, like many other people, used to watch Deaf Noodles' YouTube channel,
This is
right?
gonna be
He had this whole,
multi-tiered poll.
show segment type thing that he called Irrelevant News. It was a pretty quick, mindless way to keep up with what was happening on YouTube, especially when he was talking about creators that I probably wouldn't have really known about otherwise. I'm not exactly cool or, like, down with the kids. And so, yeah, there's like a lot of big YouTubers that I'm just like not aware of who they are or anything happening. And so watching like kind of his channel and like drama channels like that was a good way for me to just kind of like try and at least keep a little bit in the loop. And I also felt like he didn't really share a lot of his personal opinions other than making a few stupid jokes here and there. So I guess I never really thought about him, Dennis, the creator of that channel, as a person, if that makes sense. He was just like a stupid guy making stupid jokes, talking about mindless drama, you know? There were a few things that I wasn't a fan of. I wasn't a fan of his thumbnails, which were of the make the person look as stupid as possible to get a lot of clicks.
You choose one of these, so
I don't really like when channels do that. It bothers me a bit, and it's one of the things that I never want to do on my own channel, which, yeah, I admit probably means I don't get as many clicks and views as some channels, but I'm okay with that. I quite like my little mid-sized platform that I've got going. There were a lot of pros and cons to his content that are definitely worth
Oh my
mentioning.
god, her hair is like a shade lighter than mine.
He was
That's so
very
funny.
quick to make videos on and report
We're matching.
on drama and things going on. So you knew you were always getting up-to-date content, and very often he was one of the first people to report on things. You know, he would get the news out there, essentially. The problem with this is, because he was so quick, and he is not like a trained journalist or anything like that, and he was just kind of making content as quickly as possible and churning out as much as possible in as short a time as possible, he wasn't actually doing any fact-checking, and often he would report on things that were later proven to be completely false. With some of the stuff he covered, this wasn't really so much of an issue because, you know, some of it was like, well, influencer X said this about influencer Y, ooh, and it didn't really have big consequences. But then he started to touch on more serious topics, including topics centered around actual crimes like rape or child sexual assault, and there were allegations being made there against certain people that he did not fact check, which later proved to be false, and you can obviously see why there's a lot of problems in regards to that. And also,
I'm hoping that
the fact that like kind of such a silly, non-serious
loaded
drama creator was talking about these quite serious, heavy topics, but not
I
really
tried to
giving
load up
them
all of the
the
items that I've saved on my other computer.
I guess the respect
on here.
or treating them with
We'll
the
see if it did or
seriousness
not.
they needed, that was also a bit of a problem. There's also the fact that I do think there were some slightly, well, quite misogynistic undertones to a lot of the like jokes that he made, but I guess at the time, like, I didn't really notice that because like 90% of male commentary and drama channels are misogynistic. Like, I'm just gonna say it, they are. They can deny it all they want, but they are. Just look at people like Keemstar and Nick Diorio, who like they don't hesitate to call me a bitch anytime they want. You know,
I
it's
love
like,
the seagulls.
Okay,
The
great,
only
thanks.
okay, there's a few things
Not
about this
probably
game that I
who am now with
wish
Gabby Hanna
were
and things.
different.
Calm down, but yeah, like I do think there's like a hell of a lot of misogyny in those male drama creator spaces. So when you had someone like Def Noodles who wasn't really doing it as overtly as them, but was doing it a little bit more subtly,
They
you kind
have
of almost
everything
didn't
is just
notice
right out
until
of
you look
view.
back and you're like, oh wait, it was there,
They're
wasn't it?
choosing to not sit
I'm just
there.
gonna say today's video is a little bit different from a lot of my content because I'm not going quite as in depth with things and explaining
on the
things in
bed.
as much detail as I normally do in my videos, because this is more of just like an. There's like a general point I want to make to this and kind of pose some ideas and questions. So instead of explaining every clip I'm going to show you, I'm just going to kind of let them speak for yourself and use them to kind of back up my points rather than over-explaining.
There's a little bit of love for everyone out there. You just gotta get on the right TV show to help you find it. 90 Day Fiancé is an American television show that follows an American and their soon-to-be foreign spouse on their 90-day journey to
Dude, his
getting
face is
married
so
before their
punchable.
K-1 visa application expires.
And it irritates my scalp. So I found out that mayonnaise
Big
makes
Ed
it
jump scare.
smoother and less dry.
Mayonnaise truly has many uses outside of being on a sandwich, like cleaning crayon stains on a wall, or cleaning the keys on a
Gotta hate
piano,
Big
or
Ed.
even being an actual musical instrument.
Mayonnaise is not an instrument.
Never say never with Big Ed. He's willing to go the extra mile.
We're not making any videos to hurt you. We're making videos to talk about our
God,
story.
I feel like
our
I'm back in
struggle.
2016.
I feel so bad for Trisha Paytos. She just wanted to figure out a new and innovative way to talk about herself even more.
It was because of you that we were able to like talk about our mental.
I like how you guys
illness.
just want to do sandbox.
It's a reality.
You ever meet those weird
But I was
people who
gonna
talk
say,
about
some
themselves
of the
in
things
the
I
third
wish
person,
about this
like,
game. I
Dennis
wish
likes
there
to
was-
talk about
I
Dennis
could
because he's
control
Dennis, and that's
Z
what Dennises do.
to
Sounds kind of
undo
pompous and conceited, right? Now, can you imagine
the
speaking
last
about yourself
action
in
I
the
did
third
and not
person
just the
plural
last
so you can fake a
delete I
disorder?
did?
Sounds like a cloud chaser. Lily's show hasn't been doing that well.
As a brown person, I apologize on Lily's behalf. It sounds like the audience is being held
And then I
hostage,
wish that
and
we
whoever laughs
had
the loudest gets minor
things that
privileges for the
moved.
day.
I wish
As
we
a
had,
brown
like,
woman,
more, like,
I'm not looking for a
animated
brown woman
objects.
talk
That
show
would be
host. I'm looking for
nice.
someone that makes me laugh.
When are people going
Right?
to understand that? Lily's
I
singing
wish
is here to
everything
change
just had
comedy from
Control
shallow
Z,
art form. It's
also
meant to make you
Control
laugh
C
into
and
something
Control
profound
V.
and highbrow. It's meant to make you fall asleep. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen Lily Singh do ever. I think she should seriously retire because I don't think she can top that.
I like driving, but also maybe not everyone should be allowed to.
That's a great point by Lily, and it goes hand in hand with her message of equal rights, because only the people she likes should be able to do the stuff that everybody else gets to do, just like in a dictatorship. In other news, James Carls Jr., what's going on with him?
I don't think you can note-zap your way out of this, James. I'm not trying to get out of anything. No matter what happened, it was unacceptable, embarrassing, and I should have taken the extra steps to research the person I was talking to. There is no excuse. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This is on me.
Yes, see, folks, James Carls Jr. is taking full accountability by literally admitting for the second time that he literally committed a crime for a second time. Allegedly.
James, and James said, trying to TM you, but it won't work. Check IG, LOL.
Now, folks, before everybody starts rushing to conclusions, I'm pretty sure that James Carls Jr. just wanted to ask the 16-year-old basketball player what shoe size he had, because he wanted to send him a pair of his James Charles sneakers.
Obviously, all the comments started going off.
All right, another thing I wish
people
is
just
that
start jumping to conclusions
if there's
without
custom
any evidence.
items
What's wrong with
in
a 16-year-old getting
it automatically downloaded those and not just everything without that, because what do you
that are
mean?
kind of inappropriate to a few minors, allegedly.
So even bearing all this in mind, I was still shocked to witness his downfall in, I don't know when it was, like maybe 2022-ish it started, something like that, maybe 2023. And it was partly to do with people being concerned about his content, partly to do with some drama with Keemstar or something. Who knows? Keemstar's a piece of rubbish.
It's really cute. I wish I could show you.
Not worth anyone's time or interest at all.
I know, right?
I hate
so
him. He's such a creep.
And there's like a few things they need to improve on, but it's so early on. I'm like so okay with working around it.
And was almost like a little bit dismissive of his past content, but then his new content wasn't any good.
Yeah,
really
don't worry, we're not
watch.
watching Deaf Noodles.
It was very cringy. He tried to open up a comedy club in LA, and he would live stream these roast battles that are some of the worst things anyone on the internet has ever seen in terms of just pure cringe and lack of entertainment value. They were something else. I just remember watching most of it unfold through the Do We Know Them podcast, so I have some clips of the coverage from that time to share with you as well.
He would wear these
give you guys
cat
like 3
ear,
more minutes.
were they like cat ear
to
headphones?
vote.
Yeah. So first of all, that to me alone like isn't very strange. But he describes this show and this like aesthetic and vibe and the whole like premise is that it's a parody and that he's playing a character and that he's a cat in a Minecraft house. Now again, I don't watch Twitch. I don't
I agree,
I don't play
Pips.
Minecraft.
Like,
but just having a Minecraft
Paralives
background and some cat headphones doesn't
That's
really
what
feel
Paralives
like
seems
much
like it's
of a
gonna be.
character to me. And
that's why I'm very excited.
I never really knew that it was supposed to be a character until one day.
It seems like their building style is more similar to this game.
He was shifting his content and that he was no longer going to be
they could
the Deaf
implement the
Noodles
custom
character,
items
and that he was going to be
situation
Dennis. So then he
that
started
you can
doing
download
news,
through
and
Steam.
It was honestly,
Which, by the way, if you go
pretty much the same exact
you get
thing,
this game,
except maybe he sounded a
have
little
it on
more
Steam.
tired sometimes.
I've seen a few people commenting that they think I'm overdoing the curse words.
Indigo
Well,
White
here's the deal,
TV, you
folks. I
can
killed
see the
off
stuff
that
that I
fucking
uploaded
character,
to
and
the
this is how I
workshop, which
fucking
is
talk.
the
I use the
stuff
word
for
fuck
that
as an
studio
adjective,
I
an
just
adverb,
showed
and a verb. So you better get fucking
put
used
it
to it
up on the
because we're gonna
workshop.
fucking say fuck every other fucking word. Can't do it. I just don't have it in me to keep doing the character anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, we're still gonna talk about stuff like that. There's still gonna be some of that stuff in this video. It's
I really hope
you know,
Paralives goes in this direction with
his
building
entire
stuff.
fandom, like all the people he got from H3 when he hosted with Ethan, and just everybody that he's gathered to this point has like kind of turned on him and been like, dude, no, like fuck this.
Okay, well,
when he was getting called out for like by the commentary bros on his way of reporting, which like rare W for them, but like whatever. When he was getting called out by them, he started making a change on his Twitter to when he would address serious topics, he would literally put in the tweet like serious coverage or whatever he would put. This whole thing wasn't a parody. There was serious elements and he covered literal crime. And you come to find out that he hired 2 people. One girl is Tiana and then the guy's name is Israel, who is his editor. And also, both of them act in his skits, which has been, I literally, bless your souls, I'm sure, like, you know, working for Deaf is like, I'm not trying to come for anybody's job or anything, but when they get involved in the skits, it's really uncomfortable to watch.
I demand a recount.
Dennis, this is an election.
Yeah, well, I demand a rewrite. Okay. Anyway. In other news, it's the only way to show the world that we don't give a flying fuck.
No, it's in a banana.
dude. Just stop being so self-righteous.
It's inside of a banana.
Yeah, but that's what I do.
Nobody cares, you cringe.
Well, at least I didn't take blood money from Qatar.
Kind of
As we all know,
vaguely.
integrity is Austin's middle name.
I don't think that's his actual middle name, dumbass.
Okay. Wow.
It's you and me. I'm like the meanest guy on the internet right now. People hate me. We're roasting.
Oh! I already fucking... You wearing that dare shirt because you're like, I dare you to run away from me.
Alright, I'm gonna end the poll.
So I stopped watching after.
Alright, we're building a sandbox.
That'll be new territory for me soon.
Carrot Top called. He wants his look back.
And that's when I stopped.
Was that Charlie's
So
cat
now
in
this
the
is all new.
background?
Okay. Cat got your tongue?
No, you
Pussy
just...
got your tongue?
Alright.
Nah, you look like you woke
Now
up
the
in a
second
dumpster.
poll. This one will be shorter.
Bitch,
Well,
it's
that was
your
supposed to be a
turn.
diss.
Yeah,
I'm
ho.
waiting for something.
Room. Campers.
If you don't
Tony
shut
Lopez.
the fuck...
Why are you up here?
I'm looking at your teeth because I kiss kids. It reminds me. You ever see that movie Ed with the horse with the big teeth?
I don't have that big a teeth. I mean, you're just like fishing for something now. You look like emo Shaggy.
Emo Shaggy. You're like my cousin.
No.
If you were a girl.
Nope, don't.
Thank you. I bet you cried when you got those tattoos.
I did. I did.
He then started to do unhinged live streams where he would just like rant at his viewers and get into arguments with everyone. He would get really, really angry with his viewers and audience when they dared to
That's
criticize him
illegal,
for anything.
okay?
He then
Tying
went
it
away
is
for a while
illegal.
and then he came back and he was trying to do his irrelevant news segment again, but he had this like AI voiceover of like a woman's voice and everyone was like, what is this? It was this character that was called Pearl and she was like, hi, I'm Pearl, meow, 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 meow. It was very clearly AI. And then after a few weeks of that and it obviously not getting any views, he decided to do a face reveal and was like, it was me the whole time. But even his face reveal was AI.
He wants to be a stand-up
It wasn't actually him
comedian.
recording or speaking or anything like that because the video and the words didn't sync up. There was lots of awkwardness. There was this like this weird swaying and like none of it fit together. It was
You guys
very,
get
very
5
bizarre.
minutes on this
So he
one.
made like an AI video version of himself and a voiceover version of himself, and he was just creating these AI videos. It was
The camper
very,
is a fun one.
very odd.
I would
then
argue
he
the camper is probably
reappeared
the
on
most
Reddit,
restricted
on his
one.
subreddit, and I remember people questioning
But
like,
something
is this
about that's
real?
very
Is this
fun.
not? He basically went on, and we definitely didn't cover
But
this.
we can
because
only
it was, like,
really,
heavy
like-
and weird, and he essentially said like, basically tell me why I should
only really
stay
do
alive,
one type
is what
of
he was
room
asking
in it,
his
'cause
Reddit.
there's
He
only
was
so
like,
much
and he
room.
said he's like, I fucked up. I don't know why I did this. That's why when he reappeared, I wasn't so surprised because I was like, okay, well he clearly regretted it. He posted on Reddit a million times about like, what did I do? Why did I destroy everything? I destroyed like fucking everything in my life, and now I don't know what to do. I don't have money. I don't have anything. He wiped his entire channel, so
Mr.
everything
Sir.
is gone. But now we get to meet Pearl because he recently came back. We'll check the exact date. Let me see. September 3rd, 2024 is when he came.
No,
and
it was
introduced
so
Pearl.
bad. None of it's funny.
I'm
He's
Pearl,
not funny
and welcome
at
to
all.
Irrelevant News.
It's
If you're
like that
anything
person
like
in your
me,
class
you've got
that,
a
like,
front row seat to all the
thinks that they're
YouTube
the class
craziness,
clown and, like,
the
really
drama,
wants
the
that to be their
feuds,
identity,
the wild
but it's
back and
not,
forths
'cause
that
they're
keep
not
everyone
funny.
talking. It's Pearl.
Pearl.
So
That's
a lot
him.
of you have been curious about my identity, and I just want to say thank you for all the love and support along the way. I've been keeping things under wraps for a while now, but I'm finally ready to reveal who I am. I'm so excited for this next chapter, and I couldn't have gotten here without y'all. Anyway, without further ado, here we go. 3, 2,
I did it again. I guess I'm back. The other guy, yeah, he tried to kill me off, but forgot I'm a cat with 9 lives. Anyway, he got what he deserved.
Anyway, after that he went away again for a while, and now he's back doing this like right-wing grifting, right? It's like he's
Try not
gone
to cringe
full,
challenge.
Like he's trying to mimic Charlie Kirk,
I'm
and it's
failing.
like creepy as hell. Like he started dressing like Charlie Kirk. He's got his hair like Charlie Kirk. He's trying to speak like it. It's very
Wait, that's
creepy.
so weird.
Hi, folks.
What?
It's been a while. This channel's been through a lot, and so have I. I wasn't really sure if I'd ever post on here again, but
Wait, no,
lately I've been
actually,
thinking,
this is the funniest thing he's ever
maybe
done.
there's
Hold
still
on.
something worth saying.
Wait, bro might be cooking
3
because this
years.
is hilarious.
I've moved on, I've grown, and for the first time in a long
What the
time,
fuck?
I feel like myself again. Back then, I was coming out of a 2-year isolation during the pandemic. Still trying to figure out who I was and where I stood. And part of that journey happened in public. Part of that journey happened in private.
Oh my God, what?
It took time to understand where the line was for me, what I wanted to say, and most importantly, why. Long story short, I'm reactivating this channel. But not as an experiment, and definitely not with AI. I've got very specific ideas. I think we're in a cultural moment that really needs a different kind of voice right now. Something more grounded, more common sense. See, most commentary online still leans heavily left or center left. And while I started there too, over time, I've made choices.
No, it
Sometimes
doesn't.
Some very unpopular ones that
What?
pulled me in a very different direction.
And no, you weren't.
Toward values I held long before this channel even existed. Values I once put aside in favor of public approval instead of actually standing by them. So here's what to expect. I'll post when I actually have something to
Thankfully,
say. Maybe
I
once a
did
week,
not have it
maybe
that
more,
bad.
Maybe less, who knows? But when I do, it'll be real. It'll be focused.
But
and
there was a pause,
it'll be
so
rooted
that's
in
not
common
great.
sense, not in the drama or mudslinging I once took part in. I'm not here to be the entertainment anymore. I'm here to comment on it. Because, frankly, that's what I do best.
Thankfully, his right-wing content hasn't got too much
All right,
attention
one
so
more
far.
minute.
His videos never get more
God
than
damn
about
it, you guys have
2,000 views.
everything else
It's that
died.
they mostly stay in the hundreds. However,
Three-way
he is
tie for
recently trying to get more
second
attention by lashing out at other creators who are bigger than them. People like Vangelina Scov and Adam McIntyre. He went after Moist Critical. He went after what's his name? Ryan something. Sorry, forgive me. I'm kind of talking off the top of my head here. So he's been trying to do a lot of that to get attention, and it's ridiculous. But just because he's not getting much attention yet, I still think this is something worth talking about because it's part of a bigger problem overall. Def Noodles, or Dennis, is American. He lives, to the best of my knowledge, in America. And that is a country at the minute where innocent people are currently being murdered in the streets by men working on behalf of the government. Families are being ripped apart. People are being kidnapped and taken away from their homes, their families. It's just absolute hell. It's disgusting to see. More and more people are living in poverty. Women are being denied healthcare. Trans people are being denied basic human rights. And so much more awful stuff is happening in that country right now. So when you have a person like Dennis, who used to have so much influence and still has a big channel with like a large number of subscribers, even if people aren't watching him again yet, he's trying to get more and more attention from this. When someone who was as big as him and as influential as him and who has the potential to be big and influential again is literally advocating for these things. He is literally advocating for the murders of innocent people because he is supporting what ICE is doing. That is a problem. For him to sit there and change his channel name to Mask Off with Def Noodles and start complaining about the left and feminism and going on homophobic rants and transphobic rants and talking about why he believes the information we have about the literal genocide in Gaza is fake, and when he's like I say, saying that what ICE did, murdering innocent people in the streets, is completely justified and right, and he's okay with that. That is incredibly dangerous. Here's just one example of one of his homophobic rants against Adam.
Something that actually matters. I raised a serious issue, one that is underreported, avoided, and aggressively insulated from scrutiny by the mainstream media and many creators on the internet. Specifically, I challenged the refusal within the gay community to confront the issue of protecting predators. Some even criticized me for raising the issue at all, which only confirms that it is exactly the kind of issue that needs to be addressed. Heterosexual men report childhood sexual abuse at around 5 to 10%, while gay and bisexual men report rates commonly ranging between 20 to 40%, with some studies reaching as high as approximately 46% in specific clinical or community samples. And that raises a question that is almost never allowed to be asked.
I'm trying to think of 4 types of rooms.
Who is abusing these boys? And why is this pattern treated as untouchable? According to research cited by Psychiatry Online, a study of 377 non-incarcerated pedophiles found that offenders classified as homosexual pedophiles, meaning they preferred male children, young boys, reported abusing an average of 150 children each, compared to an average of 20 victims among heterosexual pedophiles. That means that homosexual men, who are only 2 to 4% of the general population, victimize young children 7 times more often than heterosexual men. It's also fair to assume that within offender populations, homosexual men who target boys often have significantly higher victim counts.
It's weird how that's
I just want to jump in for a moment, and I'm not going to talk to
talking
clip by
point
clip like
have.
I normally do, but I want to clarify for a moment that Dennis's interpretation of this data is completely wrong. And I'm just going to read my script for this, if that's okay, just to make sure I'm as accurate as possible as I can be here.
That, but okay.
It's not that homosexual men are more likely to assault children than heterosexual men. It's that homosexual child predators are more likely to have a higher number of victims than heterosexual child predators, and one of the reasons for that is because they have easier access to their victims. It's not because there are more homosexual child predators, it's that they have easier access to their victims, so they're more likely to have a higher number of victims. This is not about gay or straight men as a whole. This is about child predators specifically. This does not mean if you're gay, you're more likely to be a child predator. This means if you're a gay child predator rather than a straight child predator,
yeah, exactly,
you have easier access to victims and so are more likely to offend. And when I talk about easier access to victims, what I mean is things like this. So, like, how many parents do you know who would be fine with, for example, an adult man taking a group of young girls away on an overnight trip alone, for example? Because I don't know many of them, even with CRB checks and stuff. You're a bit like,
and then he's swung to right-wing grifter, and he's not good at that
take
either.
A bunch of, I don't know, 11-year-old girls away overnight on a sports trip or something like that. It doesn't happen, right? You usually
but you can
have
vote in what type of room
adults
we're
of the
gonna
same
make.
gender as the children with them, right? It's just kind of a fact. It's completely normal to see, I don't know, a sports coach taking an all-boys football team away overnight or something like that, because that's considered more acceptable than a male sports coach taking a team of girls away overnight, isn't it? And that's just one example. I'm not saying sports coaches are all predators. I'm just saying there's more circumstances where there are opportunities for adults to be alone with kids of the same gender as them. So it's not that gay people are more likely to be predators.
It's that when you have
people who are child predators, it's easier for the ones who are into kids of the same gender as them to have access to their potential victims. That's what it's literally about there simply being more opportunities. It's not that they're more likely to be predators, it's that they're afforded more opportunities by society because you don't know someone's a child predator by looking at them. You don't know someone's sexuality by looking at them.
As you can
so
see.
We just think, if they have a CRB check, if they seem like they're responsible,
this is what we got
around kids, but you never really
we can
know.
Build off of it, kind of.
It's just a matter of fact that sadly these people have more opportunities. And they take advantage of them. Once again, it's a problem with child predators, not specifically people being gay or straight. And it's not just that as well. Dennis goes on to talk about how a lot of child predators who happen to be gay men have this high number of young boys that they abuse and stuff like that. And again, there's a reason why so many young boys, especially when they're abused by other men or boys, don't speak up about it. And a big part of that is to do with how we socialize young boys. They aren't socialized to speak up when they're uncomfortable or hurt, and they're more likely to feel ashamed or blamed by the people around them for the abuse they face, especially if it's done by another boy or man. So their predators are more likely to get away with it and therefore have more victims. There are absolutely issues here, but they are not to do with what Dennis tries to conclude, which is gay people are more dangerous around children. It's not that. It's simply that child predators are a danger to children, and we need to make sure there are safety measures in place to help kids. And that at the minute, maybe they're not the best they could be because they are allowing certain people more access to victims. Now, I'm not saying this means we stop gay men being around children, as Dennis would like, because that's not the point, that's not the issue. Maybe it means things like never allowing adults to be alone with kids and always having 2 chaperones or 3 chaperones or so on and things like that. There are ways we can kind of prevent child predators having access to children without making stereotypes and assumptions and causing more harm to everyone involved. Do you know what I mean? We don't help kids by blaming and persecuting gay people as a whole. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. The average gay person does nothing to harm kids. The average gay person is not a child predator, and so we shouldn't blame all gay people for the actions of
frequently.
Just like there are a lot of straight child predators out there as well, and we don't go blaming all straight people because of the child predators who are straight, do we? I'm talking
Hello,
nonsense
Miss Tron,
here.
you haven't
I've
missed
supposed to
anything.
help me, and it hasn't. I just ended up rambling.
We voted on
My
we're
point
doing
is,
a camper.
This is not
That's about it.
a queer person problem. This is a child predator problem.
Okay, I'm ending it because
So,
there's
like
a winner.
I say, to get back to like my overall message here, this is not just
Okay,
about
we're
some
doing a bedroom.
cancelled or failing creator
Very
crashing
nice.
out online anymore and having a bit of a breakdown. This is about someone who used to have influence and wants to have influence again, who is now using that influence and his very large platform to spread a really, really dangerous message or messages. And Dennis is just one part of a bigger problem whereby struggling people in America are falling into believing the lies peddled by the right-wing government and right-wing influencers like the Charlie Kirks of the world, like the Nick Fuenteses, and so on. And then in turn, they are peddling these lies themselves. They're blaming all of their problems and other people's problems on people more vulnerable than them.
Let's do that
And
one.
in turn, this
wish
is
you
part
could
of a
change
larger
the color
problem,
of that, but
which
you
ends
cannot.
up with innocent people losing their lives. And that's not an exaggeration because we've seen 2 in the last couple of weeks. At least. They're just
I'm
the
gonna
ones
remove that
happening
'cause I think I'm gonna
publicly.
build it
God knows
outside.
how many people are being hurt behind the scenes. Also, and this is part of the problem, Dennis doesn't give a damn about these people. He cares when someone that he agrees with gets hurt, but not when it's someone he disagrees with. Then he finds a way to justify literal murder, literal execution in the street. Listen to the difference in these next clips coming up in how he talks about the murder of Charlie Kirk versus the murder of Renee Good.
Hi, folks.
It's
Now,
because one
it's
of
been a
those
few days
things
since
he
Charlie Kirk was
personally relates
murdered
to,
at
and the
Utah
other
Valley
stuff
College,
will
and I
never
think it goes
personally
without saying
impact
that
him,
this was
therefore
a
he doesn't
political act
really
of
care about
violence.
it. That's why.
An assassination, with the evidence pointing more and more to the assassin being somebody on the left, even though there is a lot of misinformation out there currently muddying the waters. But what I also wish is that the immediate reaction from the online left hadn't happened, because almost instantly I saw videos
also,
on
let's see if the
TikTok,
custom
on
items
X,
showed up this
Threads,
time.
and Instagram filled
They
with comments that
did,
were
not the ones I made.
absolutely vile, disgusting, and dehumanizing.
But the rest
posted by
did,
people
look.
who clearly have something profoundly wrong with them. And that's what made it so hard to read what people were saying about
We have so
Charlie
many
and his
things to
family.
work with.
Because, folks,
But yeah, I still
this
don't
is a
have the ones I
father,
made.
a son, a friend who was publicly executed in front of 3,000 people for the crime of having a difference of opinion. I think any reasonable person, regardless of political affiliation, can agree that the types of reactions we saw to Charlie's assassination were absolutely unacceptable.
Is there any hot
Valuing
topic
human
that
life
would like
should
to
be
be
a
talked
universal
about
principle.
now
Because
that I could
if we're at
possibly
a
play
point
chess
where
with
we're
for a
willing to
short AI
dehumanize
to
someone
banter
and
with
strip them
here?
of their worth purely because
Here
we
with
don't agree with their politics,
only
then
takes
we're on a
3
very
lines.
dark path, folks. And
What?
I don't see any exit from it except more unthinkable violence. It's been nearly a week since Renee Good tried to run over an ICE agent
What?
with her vehicle and ended up getting shot.
Was
Sadly,
that
choosing
written by
activism
AI? 'Cause that
over
made no
raising her
fucking
children.
sense.
Now, ever since then, it
What the
seems as
hell?
though the typical process of liberals completely losing their minds has taken place. It's a familiar cycle. It happened after George Floyd, Juicy Smollett, Covington Catholic,
Juicy
and every
Smollett?
single instance of Democrat retardation we've witnessed over the last decade.
Sorry,
Even
I
as
wasn't aware his
ravenous
name was
extremist
Juicy
left-wing
all
Karen
of a
agitators
sudden.
lose their minds over federal law enforcement doing
Sir.
their jobs. Which is a good reminder
Speak
that
English
liberals
much?
will always abandon reason and side with performative politics over Americans. Case in point, now all that being said, commentators on the left like Joy Reid are bending over backwards trying to craft a narrative that actually paints Renee Good as some sort of victim who just happened to be there by mistake. She's a mother of 3 who abandoned her children to go
go
do
with, like,
the
a
patriotic
blue.
thing and try to run over an ICE agent to save somebody who's here illegally from the legal
please.
immigration process. Ah, man. Is this
Yes.
working? Let's check it out.
Do like a
Democrats are out
maybe.
there defending a woman who was clearly an instigator and chose to go interfere with federal
also,
law
a thing that you can
enforcement
do
instead of
in
raising her
the
children.
object creation
Sorry, but
section that
where's
you can't
your
do when you're
criticism
doing
of
this
Charlie
is
Kirk
have
choosing
objects
activism
stick
over
to
raising
a
his children?
surface,
Huh?
and I wish
Because
that
you could
was
argue
an
Charlie
option
Kirk did
here
that
as
far
well.
more than Renee Good did, but you don't say that he deserved to die for it, do you? No, because you're a
Yes.
massive hypocrite. The difference in how he speaks about these victims of violent crime is absolutely repulsive. Charlie Kirk was murdered violently. He was
Do they
executed
realize
in
that-
public. And that's a terrible thing.
Renee
Renee Good was murdered violently.
Do they
she
realize
was executed in public,
that calling
and that
him
is a
juicy
terrible
just makes them
thing.
sound really fucking
we can't start
stupid?
justifying the murders of this person, but not the murders of this person. I don't care what you think a person has done or
it's
not
also just
done or
kinda
whatever,
confusing.
or if you think they've committed a crime or not. I don't think you can justify the execution of a person. And maybe this is my Englishness speaking, or maybe it's just because I'm a decent person with compassion for humans, but possibly with the exception of like a child victim getting revenge on like an adult who raped and assaulted them, I don't think you can ever justify murdering a person.
No, I can justify it for quite a lot of things. Not that.
But the thing is, while the focus of this video is on Deaf Noodles, he's absolutely not the only one doing this.
Justified,
There's plenty of
but
other
I can absolutely justify murder in quite a few cases.
YouTubers, creators who are now doing this as well. I never actually wanted to speak about her publicly again after the whole like disgusting, hateful things she said about me online, calling me an ugly bitch and so on, and getting her followers to send my dog death threats. But I actually think like it's getting so serious now that I can't just stay silent, and I think I just need to call out Gabby Hanna for what she's been doing recently and in the last couple of years, because she is also doing this like right-wing pro-Christian nationalism. I wasn't expecting the Gabby Hanna, and it's disgusting. She's not quite as overt as Deaf Noodles. She's not quite going down the whole like Christian nationalism thing yet, but she's very like pro-Christianity, pro-purity culture, and so on. So after her like cancellation, if you want to call it that, a few years ago, and like when she started going on those rants like calling me like, you know, stupid and ugly and blah 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 and all that nonsense, she then had a full-on mental breakdown. Anyway, after all that, she came back and she's posting like transphobic rants to TikTok, and now she's come back again with like her fundy refound Christian beliefs and stuff like that, and she's pushing them constantly on her audience. She's promoting purity culture. She is shaming other women repeatedly for what they wear, for not being modest enough. She's always done that, though, let's be honest. And I saw an Instagram video of hers that it was posted online.
Not a new thing.
I don't know when she posted it, but like within the last couple of days.
There we go.
But she said she wasn't going to speak out about ICE agents literally, again, executing innocent American citizens in the street. I'll keep saying it, that's what they're doing. You can't get around it. She said she wasn't going to speak out about that because what can she do?
Okay, you'll have to excuse me because I can't find the original Instagram video anymore. It was like a story that I saw.
Have fun at work. Hopefully it's not too bad.
I don't know where it was. I've been looking all over and I'm useless. But I found a TikTok of hers where she like addresses the backlash to that story, and she tries to give an explanation, and she's like, she just doubles down and like, we're looking at you. Sorry, she really annoys me. Really annoys me. So yeah, this is the clip that I'm about to show you is not the video that I'm referring to in this video, but it's a response to the backlash to that video. It's the best I can do right now, I'm sorry. But to be honest though, this TikTok video is extra disgusting because she captioned it, "Ice Ice Baby." And in the comments, she replied to people saying that the reason ICE is out there murdering innocent people in the street is because God is allowing it to happen because we, by rebelling against him and not obeying him, have made the choice to not be in a covenant with him. So basically, because some people, like myself, are atheists, or people follow different religions, we are the reason that apparently it's okay that ICE are murdering people because God is letting it happen because we deserve it. Apparently, it's all good. We hate like Christian love. People murdered in the streets. Disgusting. I'm sorry. It's absolutely repulsive. I honestly think she should be ashamed of herself. I really do.
This is my favorite thing to do, is to just resize things with this.
About ICE. My response was, what can I possibly say? It feels like we have just reached this point of total depravity, and there's nothing that I can do or say to make it stop. So I just have to stay off social media. What do we do? I just genuinely don't know. And that's why I just like don't talk about it, because I'm just like, what do we do? I have no solution because God is in control of everything, and we are suffering the consequences of our own actions as a people. We have just completely given ourselves over to Satan. We have given ourselves over to the evil and temptation of this world. So when we all on a molecular like group consciousness level decide greed, vanity, pride, selfishness, violence, hate, gossip, literally all of these things that only lead to harm. When we as a collective continue to act and move in that way, God takes note. It is biblical. It is biblical.
She says she's done enough over the years to speak out because 4 years ago, while she was in the middle of her mental breakdown, she went on one TikTok rant about how like she was just staring at herself in the mirror, no details given, going, "There's babies dying in the street. There's babies dying in the street."
That shit
and
was
that's
so
it.
fucking
She
funny.
says that's her doing enough, and now she's made merch with those words on, and she says that's enough. She doesn't
Stop.
need to speak out about the execution of innocent people because she once made a TikTok saying there's babies dying in the street. Meanwhile, she is more than happy to repeatedly spam misogynistic Bible quotes on her TikTok videos and shame women for having nipple piercings or for wearing a different bra to what she does, or for showing too much skin, or wearing leggings in the wrong place, like all this nonsense. She's more than happy to do that, but she's not okay saying, you know what, I'm not okay with my government kidnapping and murdering people. Apparently, what can she do? She only has, 2 million people following her on Instagram. What could she do, right? She goes on one rant, and I get tens of thousands of death threats, and so does my dog. But what can she do? She's not that influential. No, you've got a platform, speak up about it, unless you support the execution of people. Sorry. I have a real problem with Gabby Hanna, if you can't tell.
Valid problem.
My hurt and my anger towards her has never gone away. Not just her either, though. Paul and Morgan, repeatedly over the last couple of days, mostly Paul, to be honest, has been posting all this pro-ICE stuff on his Instagram account, going on and on about what a good job they're doing, how it's justified that they're murdering people, blah, 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 this is okay. And he's like, yeah, you know, Renee Good was gonna run this guy over, so he had to shoot her in the face. I'm like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, it doesn't
she was
surprise me
going
people like
at
that
like
have
2
these
miles an
opinions,
hour,
though.
turning the wheels away from him, driving very slowly, trying to leave the situation, and he shot her point blank in the face like 3 times. He wasn't saving his own life. She wasn't going to hurt him so badly that he was going to die. Like, she was... You've seen the multiple camera angles. He wasn't anywhere near the car. He didn't need to do it. And he made the choice to take his phone out first and record the whole thing before getting his gun and shooting her. Like, he had the time to step back and do all that. He wasn't in immediate danger. It wasn't life or death. His life wasn't at risk.
Listen, if I can't color it
just
normally,
chose to
I'm
execute
gonna do
her
it
in the
this
streets.
way.
And Paul is here posting all this stuff about why that's a good thing and he supports them, and you like scum, absolute scumbag. Sorry. Deaf Noodles, though, Dennis, let's talk about him. He's doing things slightly differently to Paul and Morgan, he's doing things differently to Gabby Hanna, but he's still got the same sort of message. So like I say, he's come back with a Charlie Kirk-esque haircut, he's done the part, he's done all this stuff, he looks slimy as hell, he's wearing shirts now. He's flat out calling gay people pedophiles, he's saying feminism is destroying America, and he's claiming that because people aren't watching him anymore, then he's being persecuted and silenced by YouTube. Boo-hoo, grow up.
And today we're diving straight into how feminism is destroying America. It is destroying America, folks, whether people want to admit to it or not. At first, feminism was sold as a way for women to gain equal status in society, and once that status was achieved, it very quickly morphed into a full-on demolition crew aimed at the family unit, masculinity, and now basically every institution we rely on as a nation. From the army to the church, the feminization of American institutions has paved the road to soft Marxism on one end, and a bizarre cultural flirtation with militant ideologies like radical Islam on the other. Now, she also declares without evidence that God doesn't exist and that Scripture is just anecdotal text. The irony, the New Testament is one of the most historically verified writings on the planet. Over 5,800 Greek manuscripts, more than 10,000 Latin manuscripts, and over 20,000 total across all languages, far more than any ancient text, whether Homer, Plato, or Caesar. Those manuscripts collectively affirm not only that Christ existed, but that early Christians believed in his crucifixion and resurrection. Calling the Bible anecdotal isn't edgy, it's just historically illiterate at this point. That underneath her whole argument is a quiet attempt at self-deification, replacing God with woman, replacing the soul with biology, replacing transcendence with this weird gender identity, whatever biology. She has.
What the
That's
fuck
not
are you
empowerment,
even talking
by the way. It's
about?
just spiritual delusion. Is that YouTube is once again silencing different voices. Now, for those of you who followed my journey, you know that around 2022, I started distancing myself from the left. It coincided with me opening my comedy club, breaking away from, you know, your typical leftist orthodoxies, doing edgier jokes.
Everyone just said you sucked at comedy and you crashed the fuck out.
I got tired of acquiescing to every demand, constantly readjusting
Everyone's
for
like,
the endless
"Oof,
pronouns
you're not
and
funny,"
every
and
new
you're like,
expectation from the trans and the LGBT community. None of it made sense to me or to my faith. At the time, I wasn't comfortable speaking publicly about my faith, but I've always been a person of great faith. I literally worked for the Catholic Church for 3 to 4 years since all of that change happened. The more I've spoken openly from my conservative perspective, the less my videos have been suggested or recommended on YouTube. My analytics show it clearly. My videos barely get pushed. I have tens of thousands of subscribers with notifications turned on. All notifications
that's actually
turned
because
on, but
no
less
one
than
wants to
1% receives them. My channel gets recommended only 16% of the time, which means most of my traffic, according to YouTube analytics, comes from people who literally have to search my name directly to find me. And when they do search my name, you don't even see my content. You see a bunch of hit pieces, which is not normal.
Kid-friendly
Every
content.
other influencer, many of them bigger than me, smaller than me, when you search them up, the first thing that comes up is their channel and their content, but not me.
So dumb.
Oh, and in case you haven't had enough of hearing people with weird accents tell you how to run your country, here's Ilhan Omar.
Apparently, anyone who disagrees with him these days is low IQ, bad, deranged, or gay, according to the labels on his thumbnails. I doubt he'll ever see this video, because who am I? But if he does, I don't doubt he'll call me ugly, stupid, a feminazi, or whore, blah blah blah, all that nonsense.
No, I think they dropped feminazi.
You know, because he's just projecting his own insecurities onto the people who criticize him. Because he doesn't actually have any valid arguments. So he's just like, they're so stupid and ugly. And it's like, no, grow up. His new channel description reads, "Welcome to Mask Off, a bold conservative commentary show hosted by Dennis Vetosa, aka Def Noodles. This is where the mask comes off, the truth comes out, and the left gets held accountable. From campus insanity and government overreach to media manipulation and moral collapse, Mask Off breaks down the cultural chaos with biting humor." Really? From Dennis? Sharp analysis. Again, really? From Dennis? And zero tolerance for lies. Says the man believing all the lies the right is peddling. Rooted in faith, common sense, and unapologetic honesty. Again, common sense, Dennis, where? No. This channel is a digital stronghold for the politically homeless, the spiritually grounded, and anyone who's done pretending the emperor has clothes. God's sake.
The irony.
And that's all. He also has a second channel now, just called Def Noodles, I think, where he's posting even more of this absolute nonsense, including street interviews, again, where he just dresses up as Charlie Kirk, and he tries to trigger teenagers who are clearly more educated than him, and he just sits there and like argues with them, and he looks like an absolute fool.
He's not.
And once again, these teenagers are labeled as mad, gay, and triggered too, because Dennis has a limited vocabulary and he doesn't know big words.
Do you specifically want to see happen, Ice?
I mean,
Not
like,
because he has a
they don't
limited vocabulary.
really, like, do they actually help anybody? Like, they just don't.
Right? Like, how is he politically
really
homeless? He's like
we don't
very
really need
status
them. Like,
quo.
what do they do? They just like
They love to think that they're
brutalize
politically
people.
homeless.
Like,
Like,
do you believe we should have borders?
Why do you think that you are?
I don't know, man.
So you don't believe in borders?
I didn't say that. I said I don't know, man.
I don't know, in a sense, means that you don't care either way. You're kind of indifferent, I guess, or you don't want to have an opinion, or.
Well, I usually like to do a lot of reading before I say, I say this or that position, and that one's one that maybe necessarily I haven't done enough reading to give.
Here's a follow-up then. Do you think it's necessary to have walls around your apartment or your home?
What kind of a...
I think that's different, man, and I think you know that. I'm just trying to help people out, man. I don't know really what this is about. I don't really want to debate. I'm just trying to like learn and try to learn and figure out how I can help people. That's all.
That's reasonable. Well, what do you know about the situation in Minneapolis?
Like I said, I'm just here to learn. Okay. I want to talk to people and learn about how I can help. That's really it. I'm not here to debate or do anything for a YouTube channel.
All right, sounds good. Cool. What's actually revealing here is not just that this guy refused to answer whether America needs borders, but why he refused. He hid behind, I like to do a lot of reading before I decide, as if the existence of borders is some obscure philosophical question rather than the most basic prerequisite of a nation state. And yet, while claiming neutrality on whether borders should even exist, he has no hesitation accusing ICE of brutality. That's not intellectual caution.
Maybe he did
That's
research
moral
on that
relativism
one.
used as a shield.
Maybe he didn't do research on the other thing because he doesn't care that much.
So
And maybe he did research on the other things that he does care about.
That's the premise around this.
Crazy
Feminism is currently destroying
concept,
America.
I know.
At one point, it had a utility. Currently, it's not. Currently, the utility of it is to invert society. Part of the reason why the trans agenda is a part of the feminist movement is because they want to undo with the gender forms of gender expressions and gender roles. They want to undo masculinity as a whole. It's about coming after the patriarchy, right? That's why they're coming after young boys more and more to transition them into being women. That's why they're coming after young women. If statistically, it's more young men that are being transitioned than young women, but it's about subverting and undoing masculinity. As a result, it actually ends up having a more global Marxist goal of undoing the family unit, which is far more destructive to society than feminism itself.
They're broken ass families.
These people are suffering from such a deep level of ideological derangement that they genuinely believe they can just force this worldview into reality. Anyway, as far as our friend over here, notice how triggered he became by this whole conversation, okay? He got so worked up that not only does he start verbally attacking us, but he then proceeds to follow us everywhere. This guy became my #1 fan, folks, and as you'll see, he literally chases me around the entire protest for the majority of the rest of the video. So enjoy, because what comes next is just a bunch of leftist, Nerf-style revolutionaries completely losing their minds.
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't been really keeping up with it.
Next question.
Setup.
So, no, I know. It's fine.
Add stuff to it.
Trust, I know.
20 views. He's gonna be like, liberal. Oh.
So are we done? Are we finished here or what?
Hey, you wanna stick more shit in people?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I was like 3 feet from you.
Dude, are we done or what?
Okay, so educate me on what's happening in Venezuela now that Maduro's out.
I just told you what happened.
So the Chavistas are still in?
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any...
loser.
Well, he is, but you know.
Do you think there's any...
Like I say, he thankfully barely gets some views these days. But that doesn't mean he's not harming people who do watch his content. And this doesn't mean that because he does have such a large subscriber base that these videos could get shown to, it doesn't mean he doesn't have the potential for more influence and doing even more damage than he already is. And more importantly, I think it's worth talking about because his views are indicative of a larger problem in America. Even if he's not necessarily the one causing it, he's a symptom as much as he is a cause, you know? Some of his more recent content is literally about him fighting with what he calls woke Karens who oppose ICE in America, and him trying to claim that the literal war and genocide currently happening in Gaza is just a hoax, according to his thumbnails. Meanwhile, he sits around and makes up nonsense about murder victims like Renee Good, saying that she deserved to be murdered because she made some Facebook posts once. According to these next clips of Dennis, Renee deserved to die because she told people online to try and interfere with ICE arrests by pulling innocent victims away from them. Literally, apparently her inciting violence is her sharing an Instagram post where it says, pull innocent victims away from ICE officers. And she deserved to be shot in the face for that. In Dennis's mind, somehow this is unforgivable violence from someone like Renee. But again, an officer shooting her while she was completely unharmed, trying to leave the scene, an officer shooting her in the face
to whatever
is somehow justifiable. And not just that, in his mind, morally correct, morally good. This is absolutely what we morally should be doing. If you can justify shooting people in the face because of their Instagram posts, I'm just saying, if Instagram was around when Hitler was in charge, that's something he'd be saying.
Enforcement works. Paperwork matters. And the real crisis isn't racism. It's a system that refuses to demand assimilation, accountability, or gratitude from people who choose to come here and partake in a system and a country that was built through hundreds of years of struggle.
But you're literally arresting everyone.
There is more information being found about Minnesota Ice Watch, the extremist open borders group Renee Good was associated with, which wasn't just observing or filming ICE, it was actually actively posting Antifa-style de-arrest instructions on Instagram that explain how rioters can physically interfere with law enforcement to force the release of a suspect. The material explicitly frames each forced release as a micro-intifada, encouraging people to surround officers, grab detainees, break police grips, and overwhelm law enforcement until they let someone go. In plain terms, instructions for assaulting cops and obstructing federal operations. Not peaceful protest, not documentation, as a mainstream media would like you to believe, but the promotion of criminal interference with law enforcement framed as moral resistance. The exact kind of rhetoric that escalates confrontations and puts both officers and civilians at risk, as we've seen happen more often than anybody would like in the last few months. Even though this evidence is out there for anybody to come across and come up with their own conclusions, Democrats are out there defending a woman who was clearly an instigator and chose to go interfere with federal law enforcement instead of raising her children. Democrats hate accountability, folks. That's really what this is. These people will literally twist themselves into a pretzel instead of just doing the right thing, instead of taking accountability, instead of accepting that you're in the wrong if you choose to obstruct law enforcement action. With good, it's the same move. Reduce a prolonged obstruction of federal officers to motherhood, as if family status negates her actual behavior. This isn't journalism clarifying facts. It's rhetoric designed to pre-decide the moral verdict by redefining who the audience is allowed to see and how. And it reveals something deeper about the moment that we're currently in. This is a media culture on the left that treats enforcement as inherently suspect, insists context is a smear, while reflexively reframing dangerous and illegal conduct as innocence plus victimhood. The result isn't accountability. It's a distortion that weakens public trust and shows how identity-first storytelling now overrides evidence in mainstream leftist discourse.
It's sickening. Like, yeah, sorry, I think people should absolutely have the right to protest against acts of kidnap and violence done by the government, and they should not be murdered in the street for it. Again, maybe this is my Englishness showing, or maybe it's just my compassion for human beings. But either way, I think he's completely wrong. He displays absolutely no empathy or
English
compassion.
are famously known
he forgets
to be
that these are
so
real human beings who have lost their
people.
lives, and he thinks he can just make this quick, stupid content mocking them and downplaying their suffering so he can try and claw back a little bit of relevance, and it's sickening. What kind of world are we living in? Or what kind of country is America, where someone like Dennis, in response to his career failing, can turn around and say, oh, I know what I'm going to try and do to save it and earn back a little bit of relevance and try and earn a living again. I'm going to start mocking human suffering and justifying public execution. And again, you might say, well, it's just a YouTube channel, it's not a big deal. But we know that, like, in that last big video I made on Nick Fuentes, he said he was radicalized by online video content like this that just went completely unchallenged while he was growing up. So he just fell for it all and believed it, and now he's doing the same thing to other people. And that's not the only example either. So listen to this extract from the book, The Women of the Far Right, Social Media Influencers and Online Radicalization. This is mostly about kind of the female right-wing creators, so the Candace Owens, the Lauren Chens, Brett Cooper, that sort of thing. Those kinds of people. But what's being said in this extract, I'm about to read you all these extracts, is still relevant to people like Nick Fuentes, to Deaf Noodles, and so on. Exposure is the most important factor in radicalization and recruitment. Rather than preaching to the choir on alt-tech platforms, which is like alt-right tech platforms, far-right influencers are amplifying their views to a wide audience on mainstream social media platforms. Influencers rely on a mainstream audience to spread their message and recruit potential followers.
Now we do
Exclusive use of alt-tech platforms might help retain current followers, but drastically reduces the possibility of acquiring new followers. The book goes on to say, far-right supporters don't dramatically adopt far-right views overnight. The process of radicalization and recruitment, or vice versa, into far-right movements often happens incrementally. In listening to their radicalization stories on YouTube, I found that many of these far-right women influencers first became interested in politics by watching male YouTubers. Let's not downplay the role that people like Dennis have, or that others have had on him.
Yeah, let's have it face
and understand that when people are spreading this hate, this misinformation, this like literal calls to murder, like, we've got to make sure we call out that behavior, and we don't reward him with views and money and praise.
You can
we
do
call
so
it out
much,
and we say just how wrong it is. We try and provide some sort of
to mute him. That's
remedy
valid. That's valid.
to this absolute plague of nonsense that they're spreading. We cannot help incentivize the hate being spread by him and people like him. Are there people worse and more influential than Dennis out there?
No.
Yes, of course. And I
don't think
actively speak about them all the time and call them out too. Like I say, I recently made a video on Nick Fuentes. It's a big deep dive that if you're interested, you can go check out. But we can't just let the smaller cases slip under the rug either, because for every big influencer like Nick Fuentes, like Charlie Kirk, like Brett Cooper and so on, they were small at one point too. They had a minimal audience. They were only getting a couple of hundred views or only a handful of people listening to them. But they grew and they got bigger because they weren't called out on it. So even these smaller influencers, I say smaller, I think his channel at one point, and still does, have like 500,000 subscribers. He might only be getting a few, tens of thousands of views every month now, but he still has that potential to be big. And what he's saying is wrong no matter what the size of the audience he's saying it to, so we need to call it out. Regardless of their audience size, hate is hate and misinformation is misinformation, and we can't just let it slide. And this might sound hyperbolic, but the fact is that what we're seeing in America at the moment is mimicking so much of what happened pre-Holocaust in Germany. America is a country which is unstable politically, economically, and socially, and because of this, people are vulnerable, just like people were in Germany following World War I and before the rise of Hitler.
Yes.
I read a few articles about this, which I'll link down in the comments below, but just to quote a few of them. In Germany, after the war, it created an environment where people were looking for someone to blame.
It doesn't have to be
This is arguably the exact same state that post-pandemic America is in, with Trump as president. That article about Nazi Germany goes on to say there was a huge amount of scapegoating and a feeling that we'd been stabbed in the back by the Jews. It was nonsense, of course, but there was a real sense of wanting to believe it was someone else's fault. And it's very clear that in America there's some narrative going around that people have been stabbed in the back by immigrants, which again, of course, we know is not true.
I don't know how that narrative
but
even
they're scapegoating
happened, because
them.
that doesn't make sense.
And when I say immigrants, I mean both legal and illegal, and to a slightly lesser extent, but on a wider scale, they're somehow blaming all people of colour for this. And people like Deaf Noodles, people like Nick Fuentes and so on.
All of that is kind of a facade, and they might just be racist. I'm gonna be real.
That article goes on to say that in the 1920s, at this point, the policy of the Nazi Party was removing citizenship from Jews and probably eventually expulsion. In terms of what actually happened, that was due to a whole series of circumstances. Hitler's reaction to those circumstances and a variety of different influences. At the core of it, though, was always Hitler and his desire to do something about what he called the Jewish problem. And this is exactly what we're seeing Trump is doing, and what he is pushing for, and what ICE is enforcing. Removing citizenship and expulsion from the country to do something about the immigrant problem. Everything we're seeing now is a mimic of what we saw back then. The author of that article goes on to talk about not only Nazi Germany, but also what was happening with Stalin at other times as well. So it goes on to say that people enforced and committed horrific acts back then for a number of reasons. For example, members of Stalin's secret police said they took part in deporting people because if I didn't do it, I would have been shot, whereas Nazi officers say they took part because they felt it was the right thing to do. These are all the same reasons and things that we're hearing from both ICE officers and the people defending them. It's the right thing to do. Well, they have to do it. It's their jobs. They don't have another choice. In a separate article, almost ironically, from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, they point out that wartime propagandists universally justify the use of military violence by portraying it as the morally defensible and necessary, which is exactly what Dennis and others like him are repeatedly saying in their content about the public executions that ICE are carrying out. They call them necessary. They call them morally They say that they're morally defensible in some way, but I don't understand how executing any innocent person in public is in any way morally defensible. Even if this person was a criminal in some way or another, unless they're actively in the process of murdering people right there and then, I don't think you can justify killing them.
Why are you falling for their it's not
the crimes they've apparently committed are, resisting arrest or being in the way or stopping someone doing their jobs.
It's because they don't really give a shit.
They are not crimes, in my opinion, worthy of execution or murder. Absolutely not.
What's not clicking?
So like I say, we're seeing the start of patterns repeating. And if we don't call it out, if we don't
they're bad people, and they're just kind of using a bullshit excuse to excuse being bad people.
There's a reason people like Nick Fuentes are saying, we don't care about the Holocaust, we don't need to learn about that, no one cares. Because he is very happy to sit back and watch it happen again.
He's literally a Nazi.
people like Deaf Noodles are spreading this
Why
propaganda.
Why would you expect a Nazi to want to learn about the Holocaust or give a shit?
Pre-Holocaust actions, essentially. He
Please
is
be smarter than that.
okay with public execution of innocent people. He's absolutely fine with that. And we need to call that out. Dennis consistently dehumanizing victims of violent crimes by his government is disturbing, to say the least. And if he continues down this path, he will absolutely end up on the wrong side of history. I just want to end this by absolutely urging anyone watching this to please
doesn't want to learn about how to leave a cult. Like, no shit.
And especially over violence in the name of nationalism or defense.
Like, they benefit from that. Why would they want it to stop?
It's not defense. It's just the result of fear-mongering. Please remember the actual human people behind all of this.
Like, maybe the average person is, like, convinced of that somehow because they're stupid, but the people you keep naming,
people like Dennis and his content and people like him,
fully aware of what they're doing. They're not, like, falling for fear-mongering. They're creating the fear-mongering
we do say
to
this is wrong. We absolutely stand up to it.
All of the other bad shit they want to do.
You are wrong. You cannot justify murdering people. You cannot justify execution. You can't justify kidnapping and assault.
The thing is that they can and are justifying it frequently.
And the other thing,
so you can't tell them that they can't justify it because they're justifying it. They are justifying it. You disagree with their justification.
In one video, like
totally valid.
This woman totally deserved
but they
to die.
are justifying it.
Let's go murder some more people if they interfere and get in the way. To then in the next one being like, oh, let's call out this YouTuber because a couple of years back they said something I didn't like, and now I'm going on a vendetta because blah blah blah. Aren't they ugly? Like, it's so jarring.
At a certain point we have to realize that there's just bad people.
The total differences in his content are disturbing, to say the least. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry,
you're expecting a whole lot from
this is very different to my regular
Hitler
content
Jr.
because it's less.
They're not going to be better people.
It's less point by point than I normally do. It's less in depth and stuff. But I just felt the need to rant about this because it's been really bothering me and really upsetting me, and I'm not happy with the world right now. I don't even live in America, and I'm absolutely petrified for the people over there.
But you're like one step away from getting it.
It's disgusting, to say the least. And I saw again, Paul and Morgan posted like, oh, but people die every day. There's atrocities being committed around the world every day. Yes, there are. And we should call them out too. Every genocide in the world right now, absolutely wrong. Every war, no, don't support it. Like, when innocent people are being murdered, yes, we should absolutely speak out about it. But we can't be like, well, I justify this innocent person getting murdered because, well, there's others being murdered too, so I guess it's okay. No.
Let's not do that.
Let's not be like that, please.
Obviously, they're going to use that justification. They're not good people. They don't have a moral.
Because there's something else I didn't say in there that I did want to. Like, if she turned around and said, yeah, I don't really want to talk about this topic. I don't really know enough about it to speak out. I don't think I support it, but like I don't really know enough. That would be fine. I'm not going to blame anyone for not speaking about something they don't know enough about.
They're
That's
bad
not
people.
a problem at all. It's better to stay silent than be loudly ignorant, you know? But the fact that she's just like, well, what can I do? It's not really a big deal. I screamed in a mirror a few years back, so I've done enough. It's like, no. Stop it. You know exactly what you can do. You know exactly the power of having a large platform. You know exactly how much influence you have. You are choosing to stay silent whilst you then go on rants about like how trans people are terrible and women shouldn't dress like this. And you're like, shut up. Shut up. Gabby Hanna's always been a terrible person, and she's never going to change, and she's never going to stop doing that. All she cares about is herself. And I think that's been shown here. Deaf Noodles.
Oh my god, why aren't you guys good people? She screams at the Nazis.
But now it's worse because he's not just being stupid, but he's being callous. He's being uncaring. He's being unkind.
It's because they're Nazis.
He's being actively cruel. And there's something very dangerous about that. Anyway, that's just my opinion about everything. Sorry I needed a rant and just get this all off my chest.
You're so close.
I think this is just like a lot of
so close to getting
pent-up emotion all coming out at once. Yeah, anyway, sorry. You might have noticed I don't have Kyra's snores in the background for once. And I miss her. I miss her snores so much. Don't worry, she's absolutely okay. She's just having a sleepover at my best friend's house tonight because caring for her has been a lot recently, and I think a lot of you who have seen my channel before know Kyra's going through a lot of health issues at the minute. She is thankfully 28 days seizure-free at the minute, which is fantastic, but she's suffering from a lot of side effects of her medication, and she's also struggling with her arthritis quite badly as well. She started recently on injections to help with the pain, but it's not quite helping yet, so she's upset a lot of the time, she's crying and whining a lot of the time, and she can't settle, which is difficult for her. She's having difficulty sleeping at times. She's also peeing a hell of a lot, so I'm constantly having to get up in the night with her and take her out in the early mornings and stuff like that. So other than when Joe's managed to take her for a little overnight sleepover, like he did it once last week and he's done it once tonight, which is wonderful. Love him for that. He's incredible. But other than that, I haven't had more than like 2.5 hours of uninterrupted sleep since the start of the year. So I'm completely exhausted, and I just need a good night's sleep. I just need time to work and do this, because obviously I can't film when she's here because she's crying and it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's difficult at the minute, bless her, and it's not her fault, it's absolutely not, but I just need a little bit of a break. She needs a little bit of a break. The new setting's actually really good for her, like having somewhere she can go and just like have some time to herself is nice. And she loves her Uncle Joe, and he loves her, so that's all nice. But yeah, I just want to let you know that don't worry, she's still around, she's still okay. We're both just struggling a little bit at the minute, and she's gone for a nice little sleepover for one night, and she'll be back tomorrow morning, and everything is good. But I miss her when she's not here. I really do. Even when it's difficult, I really miss her. But yeah, I'm just exhausted, and I need a solid night's sleep. Give me that 8 hours sleep.
There we go.
I haven't slept through a night in so long. So long.
And then I'm gonna do like a bean.
So anyway, that's also probably why I'm quite emotional and stressed. So yeah, I was a little bit ranty today, but thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you're all doing okay. Please, to anyone who is in America at the minute, please try and stay safe. Please look out for each other. Please just be nice to the people around you and take care and do what you can to help others.
I don't know, a lot of the people around me suck. No.
Yeah. Most importantly, like I say, stay safe, please.
Just kidding, I don't leave the house.
But for everyone else, please let me know your thoughts down below. Sorry this is a little bit different from my normal content, but don't worry, I'll get back to being a little more level-headed soon, when I'm not quite so emotional. And we'll be doing some more in-depth stuff soon. I just fancied a bit of a rant, I think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Alright, nice. Cool. Okay, now we're gonna swap to the next video I have saved for us. That's right, I already got it saved. Boom. There you go. I was prepared today. Have fun at work. Also, I might grab another drink here because I am out of drinks now, so I might pause for a sec just to go grab a drink in between videos here after I change the color of this. There we go. And do this because it's gonna bother me. There we go. Perfect. Do I make this go over here? I might. Yeah, I think that's better. Perfect, okay. True. That's the trade-off. I can't be organized and healthy. Okay, let me hide all of this now so that I can see what I'm working on. This is great for if you want to build like a whole structure and then you're like, okay, but like I need to see shit, and then you can just unhide them all like right here. And then you can actually see what you're working on. Okay. I'll be right back. Let me throw up the break screen and grab a drink. It'll take me like 2 seconds. I might make another coffee. I don't know. It might be a 2 coffee type of day. Be right back. Give me 3 minutes. Alright, second donut. It's a cranberry apple fritter. Fucking love Top Pot, dude. So good. Oh, and then I didn't get coffee. Because we're at fucking creamer. So I made apple cider to go with the apple fritter. No, apple fritters are like one of my favorite types of donut. It's like the perfect combination of like old-fashioned donut, new donut, coffee cake, apple pie. It's so good.
Needy. He's needy. Needy Baba. Needy Baba. Needy Baba. Needy Baba. Needy Baba. He's dancing. Dancing Baba. Hi. You're very needy Bobby. You can't have my apple fritter. Isn't it crazy how you always want to sit with me right when I've sat down with food? Isn't that really weird? So it's such a weird coincidence, Bubby. I wonder why. Wonder why you always want to sit with me when I have food. What's up with that? What's up with that, Bubba? Huh? What's up with that, Bubba? There you go, silly man. Anyway. I was thinking, I think I want to add red to this. I think I'm gonna have red. Red. Like a dark red. Yes. Yes. Actually, I want it more pink. More pinky red. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, I like that. Yes. Right? Not at all a coincidence. Okay, next video. It is titled "The Tweet That Went Viral." Sorry, I can't read at all. The tweet that went to trial. Wagatha Christie explained. So here we go.
Everybody, I hope you're all well. On the 9th of October 2019, Colleen Rooney,
like
wife of ex-England captain Wayne Rooney, tweeted this. For a few years now, someone who I trusted to follow me on my personal Instagram account has been consistently forming the Sun newspaper of my private posts and stories. There has been so much information given to them about me, my friends, and my family, all without my permission or knowledge. After a long time of trying to figure out who it could be, for various reasons, I had a suspicion. To try and prove this, I came up with an idea. I blocked everyone from viewing my Instagram stories except one account. Those on my private account must have been wondering why I haven't had stories on there for a while. Over the past 5 months, I have posted a series of false stories to see if they made their way into the Sun newspaper. And you know what? They did! The story about gender selection in Mexico, the story about returning to TV, and then the latest story about the basement flooding in my new house. It's been tough keeping it all to myself and not making any comment at all, especially when the stories have been leaked. However, I had to. Now I know for certain which account/individual it's come from. I have saved and screenshotted all the original stories, which clearly show just one person has viewed them.
But British.
Rebecca Vardy's account.
Version.
This set British Twitter ablaze. Rebecca Vardy is the wife of another English football player, Jamie Vardy.
Wait,
so
Princeton
both
in the
Colleen
UK?
and Rebecca are very high profile wags. So the name Wagatha Christie was born. I am so obsessed with
one
this
is in
meme.
the UK?
It's
Which
so
one of the Ivies
highly
is in the
detailed,
UK?
but also
Forget.
so unfunny at the same time. It's such a Gen X meme. It has Gen X written all over it. But it doesn't just end here. In June of 2020, it was revealed that Rebecca Vardy had launched a £1 million defamation lawsuit against Colleen Rooney. So this tweet was going to trial,
to me.
and that's what I'm going to be exploring in this video today. And this video has a slightly different setup, if you couldn't tell. So first of all, we have me, camera number 1. Okay, I'm going to be sitting here chatting about the case, giving you all the details, and then we have camera number 2. Camera number 2, camera number 1, camera number 2. Sorry, I look so much better in this camera. Like this camera, I'm like serving. That camera over there, ooh. This one, that one, ooh. I feel so bad for editor Kath. She already has so much work to do. So, if you couldn't already tell, I have a lovely pink detective board here. Yes, I painted it myself. And we are going to be building up the case on this board with different pieces of evidence. Sorry, this is so exciting. I don't think you guys realize, Agatha Christie is my Joker. Like, this is my Joker. I'm being so serious right now. Until we have a complete detective
I think most people know that apple seeds have cyanide in them.
It's actually genius. I got all of my information from the case from the trial judgment, which is available to read online, and I also got some pieces of evidence from the Channel 4 dramatization of the case, which is also available to watch online. And I do just want to make it clear right now that I am not a lawyer. I know it's really difficult to believe. I am not a lawyer. I don't have a background in law. I've never studied law. So if there are a few little bits and pieces in here that I get wrong, sorry in advance, but also like allow it. This is just a little bit of fun. So firstly, let's introduce the players. First player we have is Colleen Rooney. Please ignore the fact that this picture is faded. I began to run out of ink. This is no reflection on how I feel about Colleen Rooney. She is an Aries, and she is the wife of ex-England captain Wayne Rooney. They've been dating since she was 16. They got married in 2008, and they have 3 children together. Here is a picture of Wayne Rooney here. I chose this picture of Wayne Rooney because someone said, sorry, all the items are gonna be really big. Someone said it looks like when the PE teacher has to do a bit of geography. This is really funny. I'm sorry. I'm actually going to keep this picture of Wayne Rooney because it's so funny. Now, Wayne Rooney has been caught cheating on Colleen Rooney multiple times with workers. Who are these people? Which has been splashed all over the tabloids. Are they British? Wayne was actually once awarded £100,000 by The Sun and the News of the World in libel damages after they falsely reported that he had physically assaulted Colleen. This is important to note because clearly both Wayne and Colleen do not have good relationships with the tabloids, specifically The Sun and the News of the World.
Does anyone have a good relationship with The Sun?
Sorry. Sorry, I literally turned to the camera to be like, despite Wayne's infidelity, Colleen has always chosen to stay with him. Yes. She's done a little bit of media work and TV work between 2006 to 2010.
Gotcha.
She's also published a few books, including an autobiography. Overall, she's a very well-liked wag. She sort of has a very like girl next door. Who is that? Oh my god, it's Boots. Sorry, that scared the shit out of me. My cat is behind me in a cage. Hear me out. She broke her femur. Little Boots broke her femur. So she's on cage rest for the next 3 weeks. So she's here chilling with me in her cage. Everyone give Boots their well wishes. We love Boots. Colleen is just very like girl next door vibes. And she's still very well liked, even if people don't agree with her taking Wayne Rooney back so many times. So let's stick them down on the board. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Wayne Rooney. That name does actually
Does that look
familiar.
okay? Is that visible? Sorry if it's not visible. I'm working with like the best that I've got. Sorry, I look so good in this camera angle. What is going on with that camera over there? Because over here, should I use my string? Should I use the string to join them together? We're gonna have to use the string to join them together. So I've got gold string for Colleen. So this is the first visual. Colleen Rooney, husband Wayne Rooney. Gold string between them. No, sorry guys. It's a little bit genius. You can't really see it from that angle that well. Okay, whatever. We're moving on. The next key player is, of course, Rebecca Vardy. She's an Aquarius and she is married to Leicester City football player Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy also played on the England squad alongside Colleen's husband Wayne Rooney. So there's like ties here. Like this is dramatic. This is drama. And yes, I will be referring to Wayne Rooney as Colleen Rooney's husband, girl boss. Rebecca and Jamie have 3 children together. Rebecca has been very active in the media. She has appeared on television multiple times on shows such as I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Good Morning Britain, Jeremy Vine, This Morning, and Dancing on Ice. And she also has a close relationship with The Sun newspaper. She even had a column with them during the 2016 Euros. Even before Agatha Christie, Rebecca Vardy was always seen as sort of a little bit fame hungry. So let's stick them down.
I'm just gonna pull out random shit and throw it on the ground.
So if you just look on the second camera angle, we've got Rebecca Vardy down, and then we have her husband Jamie Vardy. Just before we get onto the third player, I just want to quickly talk about WAG culture, because WAG culture was absolutely huge in the UK like 20 years ago. WAGs were huge. Everyone was very invested in their lives. And if you don't know what a WAG is, it's wife and girlfriend of a footballer. A couple of notable WAGs were Victoria Beckham and Cheryl Cole. I have an absolutely iconic picture of them right here. This picture absolutely broke the icon scale. Nowadays, WAG culture isn't as big as it used to be, and I think it's because a lot of WAGs nowadays are opting to keep their lives private for the sake of themselves or for the sake of their families. I also have a picture here of Cheryl Cole, Victoria Beckham, and Colleen Rooney in the back there. So I'm gonna stick down the WAG picture here. If we just have a look at the board here, we have Cheryl Cole and Victoria Beckham and the lines just to prove that they are all WAGs. They're all WAGs. The third player is Caroline Watt. Caroline Watt was Rebecca Vardy's good friend and agent. She had been representing Rebecca Vardy since around 2015, and she was the one that was suspected to have been leaking Colleen's private information to The Sun. Caroline Watt, Rebecca Vardy.
Why would you ever talk to the press?
Rebecca Vardy was represented by Hugh Tomlinson QC. I don't know why this picture is black and white.
Which is why it's always jarring to see so many OnlyFans girls talking to the press.
But compared to all the coloured pictures, this makes it look like that he's died. But like, he isn't. He's very much alive. And Colleen Rooney was represented by David Sherborne. He is a very well-known celebrity libel lawyer. He's represented Kate Moss, Princess Diana, also Johnny Depp in his libel case against The Sun, which he lost. I'm actually really healing my inner teenager by doing this. This is so fun.
For normal celebrities,
Colleen Rooney's lawyer,
for sex workers.
Rebecca Vardy's lawyer. Speaking of The Sun, there is another key player to introduce, Andy Halls, who is a journalist and head of TV at The Sun newspaper. So, the alleged chain of command was that Rebecca Vardy would leak information to Caroline Watt, who would then tell Andy Halls, who would then publish it in the Sun newspaper. And just in case any of you guys are from the UK and don't really know anything about the Sun and newspapers like it, like News of the World, are absolute rags of newspapers. Honestly, calling them newspapers is like an absolute push. Like, I'm using the term newspaper very liberally. To Americanize it a little bit, The Sun is basically the Fox News of the UK. The Sun had to apologise for falsely reporting that Hillsborough survivors were pickpocketing and urinating on dead bodies. The News of the World actually shut down, I think it was over 10 years ago now, because they were hacking into Millie Dowler's phone. Millie Dowler was a missing teenager, and they were listening to and deleting her voicemails, which led the police and her family to believe that she was still alive when she had actually been murdered. Yeah, no, absolute rags of newspapers. Don't read them. And because this was a libel case, there was no jury. All the evidence would be presented to a judge, who would then decide whether to dismiss the case or take the case forward, award damages, I don't know. And that judge was Mrs. Justice Stein. I actually, so stupid. I thought that her name was Justice, for like a good 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what a good career to get into, like law, when your name is Justice. But it turns out that's what all judges are called. All judges are called Justice. But anyways, so let's get on to the actual case. So Rebecca Vardy was suing Colleen Rooney for libel, which is a form of defamation. It just means that the defamation is in writing. So now it's up to Colleen's legal team to prove that the statements that she said were true and weren't defamatory. And it's up to Rebecca's legal team to prove that the statements aren't true and that they were defamatory. I was really struggling with how to present this case because there is just so much evidence and it's so easy to get it all jumbled up. So I thought the way we could present this is we could first of all talk about the events running up to Colleen's sting operation and expose tweet. We can then talk about Rebecca's alleged history of leaking information, and then Rebecca Vardy's legal team's evidence against Colleen Rooney as to why her information and statement was defamatory. Before the trial, both Colleen Rooney and Rebecca Vardy signed a statement basically agreeing that Caroline Watt could have single-handedly leaked the information herself because she had access to Rebecca Vardy's Instagram account. But Rebecca Vardy still affirms that she had no idea about it and she does not condone leaking people's private information. And Colleen does still believe that Rebecca did leak the information too, but they both signed the statement saying that it could have been Caroline Watt who did it single-handedly. Something which is very interesting about this case is that a majority of the information is WhatsApp messages exchanged between Rebecca Vardy and her agent Caroline Watt. I printed out this WhatsApp bit signed so big. Where am I going to put it? This board is really big, but I'm beginning to realize that I printed off these pictures way too big. All right, we're just gonna have to stick this to the side for now. And another interesting part about this case is that large amounts of evidence were missing. Rebecca Vardy said that she lost 6 months worth of WhatsApp
Ted Lasso
messages when
Ted
she
Lasso
changed
good?
phones.
I haven't watched it yet.
Caroline was not present at the trial, by the way. She did not have to take stand, did not have to give evidence. She said that she was too ill to attend. Caroline dropped her phone into the North Sea. What? And didn't notify Colleen's legal team until 4 months after.
That's crazy, huh?
Sorry. Now, Colleen Rooney also had missing evidence. She was missing WhatsApp messages between her and her agent. I think her agent's called Rachel Monk, but I could have that wrong. Which she said she had lost all these messages when she had changed phones, but she did provide messages from her agent's phone as an alternative. First of all, let's go through the evidence running up to the sting operation. So Rebecca Vardy had access to Colleen Rooney's private Instagram account from January 2017, and between 2017 to 2019, Colleen Rooney noticed that information from her private Instagram account was being leaked to the Sun newspaper. A picture of her husband Wayne and their kids, and also a picture of her crashing her car. In January of 2019, Colleen posted a screenshot of the car crash article on the Sun to her private Instagram saying, "Someone on here is selling stories again to this scum of a paper." She's so real for that. And posted on her public Twitter, "Someone on my private Instagram's seen pictures and is telling or selling stories to a certain newspaper. It's happened several times now over the past couple of years. It's sad to think someone who I have accepted to follow me is betraying me for either money or to keep a relationship with the press." Colleen described this tweet as a warning shot. And at this time, Colleen Rooney did suspect that Rebecca Vardy was the person who was leaking her information to the Sun for a multitude of reasons, such as she believed that Rebecca wanted to be close friends with her for her own personal interests. Rebecca also had a close relationship with the Sun, and that she had staged paparazzi photos in the past. Now, Rebecca Vardy saw this tweet and WhatsApped her agent Caroline Watt, saying, "You seen Colleen's Twitter? Kiss." Finding out that Americans don't use kisses on their messages was completely life-changing to me. I thought that every single one of my American mutuals hated me, but it turns out that Americans don't just use kisses. No. Such a victim. Poor Colleen. She doesn't even do her Twitter. Funny that her PR admitted she has been in a car crash. The paper didn't even blame her for it either. I know. And it wasn't someone that she trusted. It was me. And I just want to really really
not always, but I do that
highlight
sometimes.
this last message that Caroline Watt sent to Rebecca Vardy. And it wasn't someone that she trusted. It was me. Colleen actually ended up removing Rebecca as a follower on her private Instagram account, and Caroline Watt noticed. Babe, has Colleen unfollowed you?
But I usually do like XX.
OMG, I just saw wow. What a sorry. I'm going to message her. I would leave it a while now, and then in a few weeks message her and ask if you've offended her. I bet because you had that cervical cancer chat in the Sun, she has unfollowed you. Kiss. She thinks it's me doing stories on her of all the people on her Instagram sorry, Leanne Brown, etc. Kiss. I know. That needs to get over herself. Sorry. That's falling out material. I wouldn't say that though. If she thinks you are looking at her page, she'll think it's you. If you leave it a week or so and then say you realise you hadn't seen a post for ages, then it won't look obvious. Unless someone told her it came from you. I don't think anyone ever would. Andy never would, and I wouldn't tell anyone but the Sun, and you would think she'd message you if someone said your agent had done it, surely.
That's suspicious.
Also, the Sun had that pic of her car in America anyway, not that she knows that. I know, I'm just offended that she thinks I did it. How can you be offended? You did it. Rebecca Vardy continues to message Caroline Watt saying, Dawn fucking Ward is still on there. Rebecca Vardy continues to message Caroline Watt saying that Colleen Rooney deserves everything that she gets and hopes she gets sold out massively. I just messaged Andy Halls and he said maybe she noticed we were together with them and Dan Wootton at the NTAs. I never usually message her and say hi. Maybe I should say something about Rosie. By the way, Rosie is Colleen's sister who had Rett syndrome and died in 2013 when she was just 14 years old. Ooh. Now, Caroline Watt actually gives Rebecca advice on how to message Colleen Rooney. And Rebecca takes on this advice, basically follows it like to the detail, and messages Colleen saying, "Hey hun, I hope you and your family are well and doing okay over there. Snow looks unbelievable. I did lose women today, and the booker mentioned you, saying they would love to have you on when you're in the UK.
I literally got all these items
just on just in case you had any charity stuff going on.
You can just
or anything
download
like that. Kiss."
All
Caroline
of these directly
and Rebecca
off the Steam
continue
Workshop.
to exchange WhatsApp messages. If she does try to say it, or that it was me, and it's undeniably obvious, what we'll do is say I left the company I was working for in Jan, and one of the girls in the office has my old laptop that had your password saved on it, so it will have been them, and now you'll have to change everything. Kiss. Okay, just don't know how she ever would know unless Halls has leaked it. In case, please don't give him the Mr. X stuff. Kiss. I've messaged her. This was in reference to her messaging Colleen Rooney. It's delivered. I swear she better not fuck me off.
It's
in
new.
March of 2019,
it's kind of like in
Colleen began following Rebecca on her account again, but had not reinstated Rebecca as a follower. This prompted Rebecca to message Colleen saying, "Hi, my love. Hope you're all okay. I saw you had unfollowed me and I wasn't following you anymore on Instagram. Just wanted to ask if I'd done something or offended you in any way. Literally only noticed the other day." Colleen said that this message made her feel suspicious because at the time Rebecca had over 400,000 Instagram followers and was following over 1,000 people, which means that she was probably actively checking Colleen's account to even notice that she was taken off as a follower or that Colleen had unfollowed her. This led Colleen to believe that Rebecca was checking her private Instagram account and leaking that information to the Sun. Colleen responds saying that her kids play on her phone a lot, so it must have been one of them, and she reinstated Rebecca as a follower. This was a lie. Colleen reinstated Rebecca as a follower because she wanted to be 100% certain that Rebecca was the person who was leaking her private information to the Sun. After she reinstated Rebecca as a follower, Colleen made a private Instagram story saying, "We're back. Took the kids home, we finally have a babysitter." Just over a week later, Colleen's agent messaged her saying, "Just a quick one, had journalists from The Sun," sorry, that was really aggressive, on saying they'd been told that you and Wayne are going out on lots of dates in Washington now as you found a babysitter you trust. Obviously no comment from us, but just wanted to run it past you. Kiss, 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 kiss. I forgot that I had a picture of a babysitter. I'm pinning it down.
It says it.
This made Colleen even more suspicious of Rebecca Vardy. Even though the story was visible to all of her followers, as soon as she reinstated Rebecca as a follower, another one of her stories got leaked to The Sun. But remember, there is still no direct evidence that Rebecca leaked any of these stories. This is when Colleen decided to set up her sting operation. She blocked everyone from viewing her stories apart from one account, Rebecca Vardy's account. Colleen then began to post false stories to see if any of them ended up in The Sun. Colleen then proceeded to post 4 false stories, one of those stories being about gender selection in Mexico. Rebecca then messaged her agent Caroline Watt about this gender selection story. Colleen's Instagram: wonder if they're going for baby 5. I know. Although maybe it isn't that because she's with her brother and his missus and all the kids. Possibly. Maybe she just wants to put it on to see if anyone gives it to the media. So, my camera died and then my laptop died. It's 11:30 on a Saturday night and I'm sat here doing a Agatha Christie deep dive. I actually need to get a life. So we left off with Colleen Rooney posting something about gender selection in Mexico, and then Caroline and Rebecca exchanged some WhatsApp messages about it. And this story, the gender selection in Mexico, ended up getting leaked to The Sun 4 months after Colleen posted it. And it's suspected that Caroline and Rebecca waited that long because they didn't want to draw any attention to themselves. But also these WhatsApp messages show that Rebecca was more than aware that Caroline was using her account to look at Colleen's private Instagram account. Rebecca denies leaking this story to The Sun, but does also acknowledge that Caroline could have been behind it. Oh, sorry, Boots' Literary's going. Rebecca actually said she has no recollection of even seeing a gender selection post, and that instead her and Caroline were talking about a picture which Colleen posted on her story of her holding a baby girl, which was visible to all of her followers. Colleen then made her private Instagram stories visible to all of her followers again, and then some of stories ended up being leaked to The Sun again. One of her at Soho farmhouse and another one about how she had a difficult year living in America. Because of all of these leaks, Colleen decided to pick up the sting operation again because she wanted to get a few more blatant examples to add to those she already had. Colleen then uploaded more than 50 false stories to her private Instagram story, which was only visible to Rebecca Vardy's account. And one of them made it into the Sun newspaper, a story about her basement flooding. And this then leads us to the 9th of October 2019, where Colleen posted the "it's ... Rebecca Vardy's account" tweet. And Caroline messaged Rebecca straight away. Message her now and ask her what the fuck this is.
I don't even know how.
Who is that? Colleen posted it on Twitter. Wow, that's war. She has just posted it now. Just say you have allowed a company to access it for sponsored posts and a former social media agency that you've worked with too. I want to call her PR. Caroline then tells Rebecca to send Colleen a message along these lines. As I have just said to you on the phone, I wish you had called me if you thought this. I never speak to anyone about you, as various journalists who have asked me over the years can vouch for. If you think this was happening, or you could have told me and I could have changed my passwords to see if it stopped. Over the years, various people have had access to my Insta, and just this week I found out I was following people I didn't know and have never followed myself. I'm not being funny, but I don't need the money. What would I gain from selling stories on you? I liked you a lot, Colleen, and I'm so upset that you've chosen to do this, especially when I'm heavily pregnant. I'm disgusted that I'm even having to deny this. You should have called me the first time this happened. Being as Rebecca Vardy was suing Colleen Rooney for libel, despite all of the evidence presented, Colleen's legal team still had to paint a picture that Rebecca Vardy had a history of leaking people's private information. Firstly, there is Rebecca's connections to the Sun newspaper. She even had a column with them during the 2016 Euros, and both her and her agent were photographed with them in their booth. during the NTAs. Sorry, I don't know why I was so confused by that sentence. Sorry. I'm really tired and I really want to go to bed. This evidence is definitely worth noting, but it's nowhere near enough to prove that Rebecca has a history of leaking private information. Colleen's team also wanted to paint Rebecca as sort of an unsavory character, someone who doesn't really respect people's private information. And one of those stories had to do with
grab everything out, because there's not like a good way to search through this.
Rebecca Vardy was
That's another thing I wish was different. I wish there was a way to search
where she spoke
through
about
this or
having
categorize
sex with
it
British
somehow,
singer
but it's
Peter
fine.
Andre, where she said he
It's
was
fine, I'm used to
shaved,
scouring
slobbery,
through the
lasts
Sims.
5 minutes, then falls asleep, and
Debug
compared
menu,
his penis
this
to a
is
miniature
nothing.
chipolata. Rebecca's response to this was that she was really young when she did the interview, and she
So it
actually
doesn't
really
matter
regrets
that
it.
much, but it
Harpreet
will be nice
Robertson,
when that's
an
a thing
FA official,
eventually,
was
'cause I'm
called
sure
to the
they'll add
stand
that
to share her experience with Rebecca Vardy. During the 2016 Euros, all the wags and families of the footballers actually are sat apart because they don't want to draw a bunch of press attention to them. They want to focus purely on the game. What do they call it again? There's a name. They say like the good game. No. The beautiful game. The good game. And Rebecca Vardy and her, it was either her friends or her family or a mix of both, sat behind Colleen Rooney. These were not her assigned seats. These were actually Harpreet's seats. They were Harpreet's and security seats. And many people suspect that Rebecca Vardy intentionally sat behind Colleen Rooney to draw press attention. And when Harpreet told Rebecca and Co that they had to move, they were in their assigned seats, she was allegedly told to fuck off. Rebecca denies these allegations and says that Harpreet must have gotten her wires crossed and she must have gotten confused. These are just stories questioning Rebecca's character, that she will try to further her fame by any means necessary, but none of these stories explicitly paint that Rebecca Vardy likes to leak people's private information. Well, let's get on to the leaks. Oh, I should have printed off a picture of a leak. That would have been a really bad joke. Leak number one, the body positivity post. Here are some WhatsApp exchanges, of course, between Rebecca and her agent Caroline Watts. Image omitted.
Reminding me
This
of
makes
Miku
me
is always
fume.
good.
Does she not realise she is part of the problem? Photoshop pictures that make you look 5 sizes smaller than you actually are. Kiss. Oh my god, she's got fucking cheek. Kiss. What a joke. Kiss. Sorry, I'm going to stop saying kiss. Can we not leak a story? Could only do it with pictures, but Flynet have legally agreed to delete those pics. Now, Rebecca actually has an explanation for this. When she was saying, can we not leak a story, she wasn't actually talking about leaking a story. Instead, she wanted to do a story that promoted positive body imaging and was actually asking, can we not actually do a story on positive body campaigning? I mean, I don't know. It seems like it seems pretty legit to me, actually. So we have alleged leak number one, and as you can see from the camera over here, I feel like I haven't given you guys any love recently. We have Rebecca Vardy bounces down to Caroline Watt and then bounces down to leak number one. Leak number two is about Riyad Mahrez. Riyad is a football player who played for Leicester City, which is the team that Rebecca's husband Jamie plays for. And here are WhatsApp exchanges between Rebecca and Caroline. Mahrez not turned up for training again. Lads are fuming. Really? Why don't you tell Rob Dorset? Rob Dorset is a Sky Sports reporter. Just don't want it coming back on me. I can tell someone. Yeah, do it. Okay, kiss.
Thank you for hanging out.
Rebecca says that because the press were all over Riyad Mahrez at the time, because he was apparently leaving Leicester football team, Leicester City football team. I don't really know what's going on. Sorry, I don't know anything about football. Basically, because it was common knowledge and the press were all over it, she basically just saw it as a little bit of harmless gossip. Stop. Leak number 3 is the infidelity leak. All of these names have obviously been replaced with pseudonyms, but more WhatsApp messages exchanged between Rebecca and Caroline. OMG, have you seen how badly Mrs. F is behaving? I'm actually disgusted with her. I haven't seen it. I'll look. Leak the story about her shagging Mr. G behind Mr. H's back. I tried before, but the Sun already knew about it and couldn't prove it as usual. Ugh. Rebecca says that her asking Caroline to leak a story was just a joke. She was joking. She was only joking. See, when you actually look at the board and you see the lack of strings and pictures on Colleen's side versus the sheer amount of string and pictures and pins on Rebecca's side, it's actually baffling to believe that, sorry, I like that. It's actually baffling to believe that, remember, Rebecca is the one suing Colleen Rooney. It's not the other way around. When I was researching this, I forgot constantly that Rebecca was the one that was suing Colleen Rooney. Leak number 4 is about football player Danny Drinkwater, who I don't even need to say.
That's a crazy name.
We're saying more WhatsApp messages. Story,
that's a crazy
Danny
name.
Drinkwater arrested. For what? Crashed his car drunk with 2 girls in it. Both in hospital, one with broken ribs. Fuck. When?
Oh.
He's only just been let out the cells last night. I want paying for this. Rebecca and Caroline exchange more messages about what damage the car was done, what police station he's in. Just sent it to Andy Halls. He's in big trouble. He replied instantly and said news are already on it. They have a game tonight. Someone leaked it from the police station. Fuck, someone's already tipped it. OMG. They don't waste any time. He was due to pick up his little boy today as well. Shit. Apparently he refused to stop the car and let the girls out. It's already the Sun's front page tomorrow. Holy fuck. Is he John's client? I'm fuming I didn't give it to you earlier. No, he's not. Me too. That would have been a fortune. Do you know his address? Could get splash on him for some pics. Rebecca tells Caroline that she doesn't know Danny's address, but then proceeds to message Danny on Instagram saying like, oh my god, Danny, what have you done? Like, what are you like? Sorry. And we are led to believe that she was messaging Danny so she could try and get his address of him and sell it to the paparazzi. Rebecca does acknowledge that she intended to leak this information, but she said that drink driving is a very sensitive subject for her, that it affects her very personally because her ex-husband actually killed 2 people in a drink driving accident. And when she said, oh, I want paying for this, she said that it was just like a fleeting thought and that it didn't mean anything. But if we just go back to Splash Pictures for a second, sorry, I keep shaking my camera. I'm assuming that Splash Pictures is some sort of paparazzi company, and there are actually WhatsApp messages between Rebecca and Caroline during the 2016 Euros where Rebecca is telling Caroline where they're all going to be so they can be photographed by the paparazzi together, and then when the other wags are telling Rebecca to post pictures of them so these paparazzi images lose value, Rebecca successfully stalled them so the pictures could be sold to newspapers, I'm assuming, or published, etc. As you guys can probably tell, the evidence, sorry, I'm just looking at the board, the evidence against Rebecca Vardy is truly mounting up. And bear in mind, there was a lot of missing evidence. There was 6 months worth of WhatsApp exchanges completely gone off Rebecca's phone. Caroline dropped her phone into the North Sea. Let's not forget that. Like, I know I keep saying it, but it's so easy to forget that Rebecca Vardy is the one suing Colleen Rooney. But let's actually talk about the evidence used against Colleen Rooney in court. A lot of the evidence used against her wasn't actually mentioned in the trial judgment. I got most of this from the Channel 4 dramatisation of the case. And I do just want to say, in my opinion, in my professional legal opinion, the evidence against Colleen Rooney is not that strong or substantial. But I don't particularly blame Rebecca Vardy's legal team for this, because in my opinion, they were making the best of a bad situation and they were just doing with what they had, the very limited supplies and resources that they had. Rebecca's legal team focused a lot on why Colleen suspected Rebecca in the first place, being as her private Instagram did have over 300 followers on it. Colleen said that it was because Rebecca had a close relationship with the Sun, it was because she always seemed, you know, that she wanted to be famous. No topics were ever off the table for her, and also she recalls when her husband, Wayne Rooney, during the 2016 Euros, had to have a word with Rebecca's husband, Jamie Vardy, and tell him to tell Rebecca to calm down a little bit because her behaviour was drawing sort of negative attention. And Rebecca's legal team, their evidence was that apparently, according to both Oh my god, it's Boots. Fucking hell, sorry. Hello? Do you need to go to the toilet? Alright, let me take you to the toilet. Sorry, guys.
Say hi. God damn it.
Say hello.
Oh, it's a baby.
Rebecca's legal team claimed that a FaceTime conversation happened between Jamie and Rebecca when Rebecca told Jamie, "Oh, have you told me off yet?" And then Wayne Rooney came onto the FaceTime and was like, "No, I haven't." And they were joking and bantering around, you know? Sorry, she looks really uncomfortable, but like she's not. If she was uncomfortable, she'd be like meowing and stuff. And Rebecca's team also used evidence of Wayne telling the press that him having to tell Jamie Vardy off was a load of rubbish. Now, Wayne denies that this FaceTime conversation ever happened, and he also says the reason he told the press that the FaceTime was a load of rubbish was because, or the telling off was a load of rubbish rather, was because of his bad experiences with the tabloids. He wanted to do everything that he could to protect his teammates from press and the tabloids. Rebecca's team also argued that there are businesses following Colleen Rooney, so it could have been them. Again, why did she suspect Rebecca Vardy out of everyone? I don't really see how this is relevant because she didn't accuse Rebecca Vardy off the bat without blocking her from the stories and collecting her evidence. But again, I know that they're just making the best of a bad situation. And Rebecca actually said that all the businesses that follow her are just small businesses. The accounts are just ran by individual people. I just find it really interesting how Rebecca's legal team are choosing to focus on these really, really small details in the case, such as why Colleen suspected Rebecca in the first place, or this alleged FaceTime conversation that happened during the 2016 Euros, like 5 years ago. And it's very clear to me that they're focusing on these very small details because they haven't got anything else to work with. Rebecca's legal team also argued that out of the 50 stories that Colleen posted, only one of them was leaked, because one of them, referring to the TV appearance, she actually got it mixed up and it actually wasn't in reference to her private Instagram. Sorry if this sounds a bit confusing. And the other one about the gender selection was actually seen by one other account that she forgot to block from her private Instagram stories. So if Rebecca was so hell-bent on leaking Colleen's information, why didn't she just leak all of the stories rather than just one out of 50? Rebecca's legal team also argued that it is apparently common knowledge amongst celebrities that they have shared access to their Instagram accounts, whether it's their managers, their agents, talent agencies, businesses, etc. So how would she know for sure that it was Rebecca Vardy herself leaking this information? Another piece of evidence which was used, which I can't hold up right now because I'm too busy holding my cat like she's a baby, like you're a baby, yes, is that on Colleen's phone she had saved a few Wagatha Christie memes, and Rebecca's legal team used this as evidence that Colleen was enjoying the abuse that Rebecca was receiving.
It takes some time, but
it was a meme similar to this one. I don't think this was the exact one, but it was similar. And they also argued that because Colleen hadn't spoken out against the trolling, that she endorsed it and perhaps encouraged it. And Colleen said that she actually couldn't say anything online because she was already sent a legal letter I'm pretty sure it was just a few days after she posted her tweet, and her lawyers advised her not to say anything publicly. So all the evidence is laid out. It's so beautiful. Oh my god. Now, I'm sure we can all guess this, but the claim was dismissed by the judge. And Rebecca Vardy, I believe that she actually has to pay all of Colleen Rooney's legal fees. And I think Rebecca Vardy whacked up over £1 million in legal fees herself. I believe that Colleen Rooney has some sort of documentary coming out on Disney Plus about it. Rebecca Vardy still denies it to this day. Is there anything else? No, just the fact that, like, guys, this was actually history. Like, this was history. Like, this was such, like, guys, this was such for the Huns. Like, how much is it, like, this is for the Huns, okay? Like, I'm such a Hun, so this, like, fed my soul, like, you don't even realise. Like, this is a spiritual experience, I think. Sorry, I'm doing a bit much. Sorry, my look is so whack. Like, oh my gosh, like, look, I've got the England colours on too. wag. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit rocky filming because my camera died and my laptop died and something. But I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun filming it and making it, and I'm gonna keep this board for the rest of my life. Maybe I should auction it.
No,
None of you guys
stream's
want this, but you know, I'm gonna keep it for
over.
myself. I'm gonna display it in my home. But yeah, give it some love if you enjoyed it. Little like, little subscribe, little comment, follow my socials, and I will see you soon for our next video. Bye.
Grr. So. I don't think so. I don't think she did. Okay, so we'll save the next video for Teddy's stream. And I guess we'll have to keep working on this later because I've done too much and I have not even close to completed this. Oops. Okay, well, whatever. There. Thank you! Very nice. Thank you. It is a femboy camper. This is true. Or trans. The color theme is almost giving that. Alright. We gotta finish it later, chat. But look, so far, so good. Yeah. Alright, let's save it. Yes. Thank you! Let's go! Hell yeah. Like, it's here, let me unhide everything. Like, it's definitely, it takes some finicking and learning how to work everything, but I mean, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Yeah. Before I go, let me just really quick show you how you can do like the custom items. You go here. Okay. And then you have a bunch of like shapes that you can use. Like, let's say I want to make a really quick purse. It's gonna be a weird shaped purse, but we're just going with it. Alright, we got this. Pull it up a little, actually. Let's do that yet. And then grab one of and you literally can just like make a bunch of different items doing this. Obviously this is like a really simple one. But you can add details. Oh, and this is the stick to surface I was talking about. See, it does this. Boom, purse. And then you can like color it. You can get real creative. Real fucking creative. Yeah. Yeah. Like there's flat surfaces, there's different shapes. A lot of different shapes. You can get really fucking creative with it. You can't exactly sculpt. You have to use the pre-existing shapes, but who knows what there will be in the future. Who knows? And you can like do that. Yeah, you can get really creative with it. Not exactly. You have to like really work with the shapes that are there. So yeah, but then you can export it as a 3D model. You can put it in the Steam Workshop, load it, anything. It's pretty fun. Why is it all of a sudden big now? Confusion, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm guessing a lot of that stuff will come later and or we'll be able to mod it, but like it's really good so far. The developer seems pretty responsive on Steam and stuff, and they just released a patch yesterday, so I haven't really done the daily prompt at all yet, so I don't know how that works, but it's pretty exciting. I'm very excited to keep playing this game. So yeah. Yes. No, same, but I was still able to make a decent amount of stuff. You'd be surprised, like what I did was I just pulled up a picture of something I wanted to recreate and then used that as like, okay, break it down into the basic shapes. And then once I like kind of figured out how to work better with it, I got a little better. But like I was able to make a little duffel bag. I made wallpaper. You can get pretty creative, so yes, yes. It definitely scratches the Sims itch that I was needing, so yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's any selling of anything, but yeah, because it's all just loaded for free on the Steam Workshop right now. But maybe in the future, I don't know. Maybe if the community gets bigger, so hopefully it does. So start playing the game so that you can help you and all of us learn how to use it better, because I've been able to get quite a lot of progress just playing it a little bit and figuring out how to make stuff. But like if you go to the Steam Workshop and look at all the other stuff that people have created, like you can get pretty fucking creative with it, so it's nice. So you're fine. I'm gonna end stream in a second and then hang out with you for a second, and then I'm gonna go back. Your little teeth sticking out. You're such a silly girl. You're a silly girl. You're a silly dog. Why are you crying? Just a porpoise. She's so silly. You're silly, girl. You're silly. Yeah, you're silly. You're just crying at me. Why are you crying? She's silly, baby.
I love you. I do, I love you. I know, I'm almost done. Okay, I'm gonna leave and give Bubbles some attention in between streams, but I'm gonna just shoot you over to Teddy's stream. I will set hers up to be, what am I saying? Her starting screen will start playing for a while. Her stream starts at 2. But yeah. Okay. Yes. Ooh. Yeah. Ask me at Teddy's stream. But yes. We're gonna play some Animal Crossing. So. Right? Right. See you over there soon. Okay, chat? Enjoy the outro. Enjoy Teddy's intro. And I will see you on Twitch later tonight at 5:30. It's gonna be a drawing stream. Okay? We're gonna draw stuff on Twitch. Because I feel like I'm behind on art. And I still wanted to do Animal Crossing on Teddy's stream. So, art on Twitch. Okay? Okay. Mwah. Bye.